Australia. We're upside down. So that's a like, right? Volume is very low, apparently. Be an asshole. Clean out your assholes.
All right, you fixed it. Okay, so we're live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here to our post Halloween production. For me, it's there's JL. There's JL.
Hey.
Well, seeing as how there was that y'all were going live, and went live, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'll go ahead and jump on. I'm still in my car, but it's all good. I'm here for you.
So, what are you up to today, Cease? Or like,
no notification on YouTube that you guys were none at all. All I saw was PAC Tony's gone live.
Yes. Well, I was actually uncertain. I have to admit, I got all confused. The plot hole asked me a really good question, like, what time are we starting? Given that daylight saving is ending for you guys.
Yeah.
And so we're kicking off, and it's now nearly 12:30 at night for me. So,
Johnny, I told you it was 6.
Told you, Johnny.
No. So,
it's serious questions. I've got a serious question for Mr. J.L. Warren.
Yes, sir.
So your head is basically touching the roof of your car, right?
Close to it, yeah.
So if you hit a speed bump with your freshly shorn head, will you start a fire?
No, but I have got rug burn that way.
You could light a match on that fucking thing.
Yeah, just about.
It's the best feeling ever if you shave your head.
I'm really handy at camping, you know?
Oh, dear.
So, gents. You better.
Yes, so apologies to everybody. This isn't the most well organized or publicized as streams as a result of my uncertainty, but we'll make do.
So time has not changed for you guys. You have not gone forward. You've not gone back an hour. But
no.
But we gained an hour. So when it hit when it hit 2 o'clock, it jumped back to 1, and we repeated an hour. So technically, from our perspective, it's still 7 o'clock, but you guys are actually on the clock an hour ahead of us. So to keep our normal time for you guys, it would have had to have been 6 a.m. for us.
Yes.
I put that in the Discord.
Well, like, to be fair, right? Australians in the summer, a lot of Aussies here get up at like 5 in the morning anyway. So it's like, it makes no difference to Aussies. Well, over this side, I don't know about over his side.
Y'all are a bunch of croc farmers anyway.
Damn right.
That's us.
Crocodiles never rest, mate. Sorry, Tony.
Well, the main complaint is the idea of it is to conserve energy, right? So you get up earlier, you overlap with more daylight hours while you're active, and you save energy. You don't need illumination or anything like that. So JL looks like he's about to rob some convenience store.
Yes, I will be right back.
Or rob a bank, perhaps. It's kind of hard to tell. A sperm bank.
I'm doing the best I can with what I've got, okay?
Jesus Christ. This just in, J.L. Warren is about to rob a sperm bank.
Well, that went to a dark place.
I'm I hope it doesn't.
And so I was on the shills. I was on the shills earlier today, and we're talking away. And somebody had, I think was it Colin or was it? That's right. We got to meet. We got to meet Mrs. Colin, whose YouTube name turns out to be Globalicious Colon.
Oh,
And we're
lovely.
talking about, and there are these what sounds irresistibly like a porn movie being made in the background, and we're just going, what on earth is that? Just go. He goes, oh, that's just my daughter and my wife having a conversation. Okay, that just went to a really dark place, and then he's gone, oh, it's my wife, Globalicious. Your wife has a porn name, Globalicious colon. Like, it just got worse and worse and worse. It was just impossible to extricate
I'm a
ourselves.
huge fan of her work.
Yeah, okay.
So what's on the agenda?
Well, there's some obscure event in the US this week.
Yeah, what is that, Tony?
I think it's their version of the Melbourne Cup, right? We have the Melbourne. I think where is the Melbourne Cup coming up this week or is it next week?
I think it's next week,
Okay,
but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, there's some weird ass thing. The Melbourne Cup, which is the biggest horse race in Australia, is held, and it's quite famous internationally. Thank you very much. It's held on the first Tuesday in November, which turns out, but it's the first Tuesday that satisfies certain constraints, like the first Tuesday after the first Sunday in November or some such gibberish. Anyway, yeah. You guys are having some sort of experiment in democracy, right? You're trying to establish that you're a functioning country, right? Is that? Well, yes.
Thanks for pointing it out.
Well, I'm getting warnings about YouTube. YouTube is unhappy. They say that they're not receiving enough video.
Yes, Johnny. Harkening back to the conversation we had last night, this country currently is dysfunctional.
I would tend to agree, actually. It would appear so from the outside. Let me ask you this, lads. So hold on. Because the Earth apparently is a fucking globe. We have different times at different times of the day. So how long is it until the finale? It's when is the last episode of America? The Netflix finale. Can you imagine? Hold on a second. Let me just paint this picture for you, right? I jump in my little time machine here, and I go back. Let's even say 20 years, right? And I say to some guy in a bar in West Texas, "Hey, in 20 years' time, Donald Trump is going to be the president of America. We're all going to be locked in our houses, and the most famous people on earth is a bunch of sisters famous for sucking off really famous guys," and they'll be like, "What?"
Here in Texas, you would be a contender for the best tall tale.
Yes, is that you're telling tall tales, son?
Yeah.
Guaranteed. But can you imagine? Go back in time. Myself and Mrs. Demon do this thought. What would you call it? A thought experiment every now and again, right? Where one of us will say a sentence. It could be anything, just regular modern day human conversation, and one of us will kind of say, "Can you imagine going back, 50 years, and saying that sentence to your aunt or something. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he, double tapped my tweet. And they'd be like, what? What the fuck does that even mean? Isn't that interesting?
No, but we'll pretend that it is.
Well, that's all I need without you fucking telling me would be great. I always think that though, somebody says like, I don't know, man. Hold on, Mrs. Demon. Woman. This is where I get smacked. No, she's not there.
That'd be like
woman.
That'd be like us asking you if you believe that Boris Johnson would be the fucking PM of England.
I know.
Great
supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
It's more like suggesting that Nigel Farage would be Prime Minister of England.
Did you hear?
No.
Did you hear Nigel Farage?
I'm here to ask questions. I'm here to talk about politics. I brought you tea. Tea and biscuits for you. It's very cold out here, and we're going to have that.
That tea story made a deep impression on JL.
It really did. He never brought it up before,
he
but
was so doddering in that moment, just like like that. And I was like, this fucker is like sneaky. Is like this fucking snake. He is a snake. He is crazy as a fox. And I saw it. All the reporters just like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll have tea now. It was like you.
Well, they are English, so I mean, you hand an English person tea, like, okay.
Ooh,
but
tea.
To be fair though, right? Boris Johnson, one thing that I've got to give him is he definitely had the best fucking insult of all time in the London Chamber when he was the mayor of London, and he was like, "So you're not going to ask me any questions? Great supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies." And I was like, that is just awesome. I'm using that forever. That's the fucking best. That is the best takedown I've ever heard. But anyway, talking about Nigel Farage, did you gents see Nigel Farage's hype talk about Donald Trump at a Trump rally?
No, I heard that he was on stage. But the headlines that I heard were that at the same rally event, which was in
it was in Florida,
Arizona, Utah.
There was one in Florida and one in, I think, Arizona. You're right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had he rushed Martha McSally up, saying that nobody wanted to listen to her, had her on for like 30 seconds and then threw her off the stage into a garbage pail. While Nigel Farage got like 5 minutes. So, a struggling GOP candidate got fucking publicly humiliated.
It's unbelievable.
And Nigel Farage gets held up because he's going to say polite stuff about Donald Trump.
It was beyond polite, though. It was it was such a hype show. He was saying like, "This is the bravest president you have ever had." He basically said everything short of "Donald Trump has an enormous penis." That was like literally the only thing he left out. It was the cringiest shit.
Isn't giving cringy compliments the kind of same as saying you have a big dick in England? I mean, it's pretty much it, right?
It's pretty much the same.
You look so handsome today. Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. What a ginormous penis you appear to have. Oh, Tony, I just remembered what I was going to ask you.
Yep.
Now, I'm asking you this because I genuinely don't know. It sounded wrong to me, and it sounded fishy and a bit of a Trumpism. So I want you to try to explain it to me without getting mad at me for asking it. Okay?
Yep.
So you can imagine what this is going to be like. Right. So you remember I was going on about how Donald Trump said, "You're going to be able to burn your beautiful, clean coal." And I was like, hold on a second. What? So apparently Trump said, and this was backed up by none other than Mr. Alex Jones himself, that the theory behind this clean coal burning is that it releases carbon into the atmosphere, which terraforms the Earth and helps to maintain the ice caps.
So there is an element of truth to that in the short term, but it is a misidentification. So what happens is that burning coal, the dirtier the coal, the better for this purpose. You release smoke and soot. And that smoke and soot prevents sunlight from coming in, so it reduces your insulation. So it reduces the energy received from the sun. That doesn't prevent the warming. That doesn't protect the ice sheets. It just means that it takes longer for you to realize that you've fucked things up completely. So there is a, and I mean the idea of putting reflective or absorbative particles into the air to reduce insulation is sort of one of the principles of geoengineering that people have put forward. But it's very, very dangerous. There are a lot of risks associated with that.
Of course.
And you really don't want to make a bigger problem than you're starting with. So,
is that a similar thing to like? Oh, sorry.
Well, I would assume that putting weird shit in the air to do things that don't normally function in nature would be a bad thing. Just my guess here.
Generally, and one of the problems is that they often have consequences far outside what you might achieve. There was a suggestion that you might want to put sulfates, which are highly reflective into the atmosphere, but it turns out that sulfates act as a catalyst in the destruction of ozone. So if you did that, you'd destroy the ozone protection. You need to be really, really careful with, a lot of these proposals need to be tested out.
Absolutely.
But
the interesting thing about
I have to ask of all these weird methods, of all these sci-fi methods that people are talking about, which is cheaper, to go with one of these sci-fi methods or just switch to renewables?
Well, switching. I think that switching to renewables, and particularly switching away from coal, is actually negative cost in the long term. Coal has enormous negative consequences. It causes lung problems. It causes pollution problems. And switching away is actually, if you do the economic analysis rigorously enough, it turns out to be really cheap. God damn it, Jessica G. Stay awake. I'm talking. Anyway, doing things on global scales in terms of atmospheric composition is always going to be really, really expensive. I'd go with the alternative energy production.
Absolutely right. Let me put this to you, folks. I think this might be a little bit of fun. Just to spice it up and have a bit of fun here, I want each of you to tell us the best way to cool the Earth back down. # wrong answers only, including the chat. Wrong answers only. How do we cool the Earth back down?
Okay.
Tony, since you're the expert, let's go with you. I think your head's going to explode if you try this.
That's easy. Thermonuclear war. You get a nuclear winter after thermonuclear war. Bang, cools the Earth back
Job
in.
done. JL1.
# wrong answer only.
I'm more of an organic guy. I say drop a hydrogen bomb onto Yellowstone caldera. Let the Earth do it itself. We don't have to bomb everything. Just
bomb one thing.
Yellowstone.
There we go.
Fuck
me running.
Domino.
I like the organic effect. I'm more
the organic mass genocide of everything on the planet. Yes. Johnny O, what would you do?
Well, first I would, confirm that I have fixed the OBS on mine.
Ooh, it's getting chilly.
It is a little chilly over here. What would I do what was the question? I was busy,
So you have to fix the global warming, but it's wrong answers only. I just saw someone in the chat stole my answer, but I'm going to say that anyway, so because it's all I've got loaded. So, Johnny O, what would you do?
Wrong answers only to fix global warming. Turn on
wrong
air
answers.
conditioners.
Nice.
Problem solved.
I'm gonna have to do mine. I'm gonna have to channel Donald Trump for this one, I think, because only he would be capable of saying something like this. What everybody needs to do is open your refrigerator doors. Okay, cool everything down. Open your refrigerators. Everybody take out your ice cream, throw it in the air. Everything gets cold. What about the chat? Let's see what the chat has to say, right?
You brought up Trump multiple times. I'm very curious if anybody heard about what went down in Texas this past weekend regarding the Biden rally.
Yes,
It was supposed to take place.
I didn't even hear about this.
Okay, so Biden and company were supposed to come to Texas, and they canceled. And the reason they canceled was because of what happened to Wendy Davis. Wendy Davis is a Democrat here in Texas. She was running for Texas Congress, and on her bus, she's supportive of Biden. Well, we have in Texas, actually in multiple states, there are groups of people called that basically form Trump parties. And what these people do is they get in their cars and they drive around and they harass Democrat buses, campaign buses, while they're on the road. And a whole mess of these Trump. What they do is they load up their cars with all like Trump signs and all kinds of shit. And they found Wendy Davis's bus, thinking it was Joe Biden's bus, but they found Wendy Davis's bus on I-35, and they surrounded it and slowed it down to like 20 miles an hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, when I say I-35, I know you guys have no concept of that, but I know Johnny does.
Yeah.
So they slowed
it's an interstate, right?
It's an interstate, yeah.
Yeah,
they slowed her campaign bus down to like 20 miles per hour on the busiest interstate in Texas, and they had to call the cops. The cops came out.
They rammed one of the vehicles as well. There's a video of somebody in a truck ramming, and you can see all his tire marks on the side of somebody's vehicle. I believe they call that mob veto. They did it to Joe Biden the other day, where he's up there and he's like, "Oh, the thing," and then everybody starts screaming and beeping and shit to try drown him out. And like, that's just fucked, man. Like, if you think Joe Biden is that bad and he's that doddery, leave him do it to himself. You don't need to go there and fucking beep and act like an asshole.
Yeah, it was wild that these people would put people's lives in danger on a weekend on I-35. It's just I'd never heard of anything like that. That people were willing to go.
What was that lady's name again? Wendy Davis, isn't it?
Wendy Davis.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
She ran for governor, and unfortunately, she lost to Greg Abbott. And I think people are really regretting putting Greg Abbott into office because of the shit that's gone down. Obviously, during the pandemic, it's embarrassing, and so we need to. Whenever I think of Greg Abbott, I just think of that meme of pushing the wheelchair off the cliff. See, Johnny knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that's the thing that kills me the most about that fucking asshole talking about our governor. Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair. That doesn't piss me off. He got into that wheelchair because he was jogging one morning, and then somebody had a tree in their yard that they'd let kind of go mangled and decrepit. So a tree branch fell on him, right? Like broke his back and severed part of his spinal cord. So he's he can't walk. So he turned around and sued the homeowner and the insurance companies for bukus, but a stupid amount of money. Stupid amounts of money. That's how he made his money.
Yep.
And then he goes as Attorney General. He goes and spearheads a campaign that limits how much money people can sue insurance companies for. Fucking hypocritical piece of shit.
So no one would have the opportunity to try and challenge his ass.
Well, yeah. Nobody could do what he did. Not to say that
exactly.
I want a fucking tree branch to follow me so I can get rich, but it's kind of shit.
Anybody want to read out Clive Wells' comment?
Like I said, that meme was like, so what would you do during the pandemic? The old people should die and make way for the young generation. Off the cliff.
Oh, man. That's brutal, man.
Clive Wells says, let's send a rescue party to rescue JL from the bottom of the well that he's phoning in from.
And on that, we got
Blackwell's also had a very good answer to how we cool down the Earth, which was put the Flurfs in charge. We'll be back in the Stone Age in no time.
That's true.
Nice.
That's a
Dark
good
Ages.
one.
Yeah.
It's probably the most realistic answer. Or just tell them, hey guys, do everything you can to heat up the planet. And because they fuck up everything, they'll just put it back down.
Unfortunately, we've told them. We've told them how to heat the planet up, and they're pretty determined to do it. Apparently.
Yep. Dumb shits. They're trying to bring on the Rapture.
Yes, that seems really weird. Like the Rapture is and it was one of the weirder Karen videos the team found early on. Was this woman looking at the camera and going, "Well, people die anyway, and they're only going to go to their ultimate fate."
Yeah.
Well,
fuck
yeah.
that bitch.
That's crazy.
According to you. But what if you're wrong, you sociopathic murderous slut?
Tell us how you really feel, Tony.
If I trusted you, I'd really let loose. But it's it's just like this is there's a famous saying from the
Nice
what is it, the Albigensian Crusade. In one of the histories, one of the local Catholic officials says, "Kill them all, God will know his own," and that really sums up one of the dangers that religion can have in the hands of the wrong people.
Yep.
Oh,
JL, your room looks awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Let me get JL in.
Awesome. Is that can I ask you, those display cabinets in the back, are they IKEA ones?
They actually are. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get. I was looking at them. I want to get some. They look really great.
They're brilliant. I freaking love them. Now,
you know what? There's a huge thing
this
on
one,
the
the black trimmed one. I bought that one at IKEA myself. These two, the two white top ones. There was a store near where I work. There was a vape store that went out of business, and they had like a whole bunch of cases, just of all kinds. They had of IKEA cases. I was like, those two. I want those two. I should have bought all three. He offered me three for 100. He offered me three for 150, and because only $50 a pop for each one. And I was like, I think I only need two. I should have bought them all.
You need all three.
As an avid vapor, I can confirm that there is not one single vape shop in the world that does not have one of those IKEA cases. Any vapors out there can confirm every vape shop has those IKEA cases. But you know what people have been using them for on you can look it up on the Instagram. People are using them as little glass houses for not glass house, what I call greenhouses for plants and shit. Oh. Yeah, just make sure you don't throw any stones.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, you'll dig this, Demon, because with the whole new setup, I got to put stuff in here. But do you see that up there? That old globe?
Yes.
Okay, so that globe is actually what was my grandfather's.
Nice.
And
nice.
That globe, I think, is close to. See, I'm 40 now. My grandfather owned it. I think my great grandfather is the one who purchased it and gave it to him, and he gave it to my mother, and my mother gave it to me. So I'm pretty sure that sucker is around 60, almost 70 years old.
That's so cool.
So
I really like that.
And I got that up there to piss off the Flurfs.
Yeah, me too. Mine comes from a long lineage too. So this particular one was created in a factory in China, and it actually traveled upon a boat.
China.
The whole way here. I actually single-handedly walked to the store and purchased it. How about that?
Nice.
Did your one
Nice.
travel halfway around the globe that it's depicting? I
You know,
doubt it.
I actually don't know where my grandfather bought it, but I do know that mine depicts the world and all of its countries under names that no longer
Like
exist.
Siam and Yugoslavia and all that stuff. That's so
and,
good.
Czechoslovakia.
Russia is
Czechoslovakia.
it's literally USSR across the top of Russia.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So
What about? Let me ask you this: what about Congo? Because Congo changes its name every day. I wonder what Congo is on it.
You know what? Actually, that's a good question. Let me check it out. One
The
sec.
diamonds.
Diamonds.
The diamonds.
So I'm guessing Thailand is probably called Siam on it. Is it Thailand? Hold on. What was Siam?
Yes, Siam was Thailand.
Thailand, yeah.
Oh,
Ceylon was Sri Lanka.
Ceylon. Yeah, that's right. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Or Serendip. If you go back really early, they
right.
sometimes called it Serendip. It's where we get the name serendipity from.
I was just going to ask. Yeah, that's interesting.
Let's see what we got here. God, this thing is so old. So here we have. Oh, sorry. It doesn't say it's a. It says. I don't know if you can see that.
Russian Empire? What? No, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Whoa, but yet.
Is what that is, and what else we got? You said
Is the capital of
you
Turkey
said Congo, right?
Congo, yeah. West
Liberia, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, the Congo.
Yeah.
The Congo.
The Congo.
Because
Congo,
when Irish people went out there peacekeeping, it was called the Congo at the time as well.
Don't
Is the
ask the
capital-
question. No, don't ask that question. I will belittle you if you do.
What question?
Which one?
The question about is Constantinople the capital of Turkey? No. The capital of Turkey changed
Oh, it's
to
Istanbul.
Istanbul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got there's Yugoslavia,
Yeah.
I thought it was Pepperidge Farm.
Romania, not Romania, Romania.
No way. R-U-M.
Rumania, Romania.
Wow. That's so cool, man.
Norway, Sweden, Finland. So
What
many
about Ireland? What's Northern Ireland on that
Oh,
map?
we're okay. Let's.
You might give us an idea.
Dang, it's so small.
That's what she said.
Whoa.
Too easy.
Okay, so on this thing, it's North Ireland. It's North Ireland. It's N-O, but they got it like N-O.
Yeah.
Ireland. North Ireland. Bail out the cliff. I totally mispronounced that. I know.
It wasn't actually that bad. Balya Clear.
Get out of here. Your
Bala-
fucking reaction,
Bala-
Irish, said it was that bad.
Bala of Clea?
Balya.
Balia?
Aha.
So the T is silent.
Yeah.
If it's
Balya
followed by an H.
Yeah, exactly.
Aha,
Otherwise,
Clear.
it would be Ata. But it's,
And
Balya Clear.
And ATH is pronounced is like E.
Depends on the word. So in that one, it's aha. A-T-H-A is aha.
Aha.
And then, are you agreeing with me, or are you saying the word?
I'm saying the word.
Uh-huh. Balyaha and Clea. It means the town of the games.
Oh, okay, cool.
The name Dublin comes from Dublin, which means a black pool. Tony didn't know that, right, Tony?
Then,
That's one of your favorites, isn't it, Tony?
I'm actually all excited by the fact that Dora is quoting "They Might Be Giants" song about Istanbul and Constantinople.
Istanbul. It's called Istanbul.
No, it's Istanbul.
I remember that song from Looney Tunes.
And see, Saudi.
Yeah, it's actually
Saudi
quite
Arabia. Saudi Arabia. Okay, this area right here is listed as Arabia. So there's an actual like Arabia area, and then there's Saudi Arabia, and then the UAR, which is the United Arab Republic. In parentheses, Egypt.
Oh.
And then South Arabia, which is the Hadramaut.
Clive Wells wants to know on the Horn of Africa, do they have Abyssinia?
Oh, yeah. Instead of Ethiopia. Instead of Ethiopia.
Abyssinia instead of Ethiopia.
Or Peking instead of Beijing. That'd be an interesting one.
There's
Holy
Eritrea.
fuck me. Are we the 4 Beardsmen or are we the 4 Boringsmen?
Did somebody
I
say
actually
that?
find
Yeah.
this fascinating.
You
Is there a
would.
difference? Yes,
Okay.
you that
Yes.
you're boring.
North of Kenya is Ethiopia,
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
and you said Peking, and that's in China, right?
Yes. Last
Or
time I
what?
checked.
Yes. There's
Where
You
else
thought
in
it was
China?
boring before. Peking is actually pronounced Beijing in the appropriate Chinese
Language.
See,
transliteration.
it takes me a second because the word, the printing on this thing is very, very small. Pyongyang name. There's Nanking. Yichang has.
Beijing is inland, surprisingly far.
There's
Yep.
Shanghai. Oh,
Shanghai's on the coast.
yes.
Inland.
Yeah, I found it. It's north. It's north. It's north up there. Towards in Inner Mongolia.
Right.
So Peking.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool, man.
Peking on that.
Okay, I got one more from me that I want to know because, as you guys may have learned, I'm a fish nerd.
Oh,
Is
the Mongolian People's Republic is on here.
Ah, that's so interesting. The last one I'm going to ask is Tanzania, or Tanzania, as I think some people refer to it as. Tanzania used to be called Tanganyika, and a lot of my fish are called Tanganyikan cichlids. Interesting to see if that's still.
Tanzania.
Damn it! I don't know how long ago it changed, but.
And
Yeah,
then
that's really.
that's
Is
the
France still called Gaul by any chance? Or Frankia? that was kind of more back in Tony's day, to be fair.
And
Yep.
Yeah, not the okay. Canada's just Canada because on the flat Earth map on that video, it was the North Dominion of Canada, which I thought was way more metal than just Canada
If I was
itself.
Canada, and if my Canadian brothers and sisters are listening to me right now, I would immediately stop what I was doing and petition Trudeau to change the name of Canada to the North Dominion of Canada.
Damn right.
Because you guys already act like pussies.
Exactly.
You got to toughen up a little bit, okay?
Oh please,
Okay.
they're all hung like moose.
I'm kidding.
Hey, Tony, I'm very curious, and you know a little bit more about this than I do because just the sciences and everything. You're that's your field. But the analemma. All right, so
Yes.
so what I'm talking about for anybody who might not know in the chat, what I'm talking about is that thing right there. That's the analemma on the globe.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, so link these things for me. Flat earthers think that this, or some flat earthers think that the analemma marks the how the sun moves in the sky and proves that we're on a flat earth.
Yep.
It obviously does not, because
It obviously does not. Yes.
because it doesn't factor in the Earth's axial tilt and various other things. But how are they linking it? I never understood how they connected those two dots.
Reification fallacy.
Yeah. So I don't understand that either. Simon Dan has some really great images of the analemma, and if you look at it, you say, well, okay, obviously we're looking at a three-dimensional image where the sun is in different positions, different, and it's really interesting to sort of see the texture of how an analemma works. We're obviously closer at some points in our orbit and further away at other points in our orbit. But they just ignore that, and I think they invoke atmospheric effects. I seem to remember that this was part of the thing that Eric Dubé was prattling about, that Simon Dan ripped apart. He was claiming that there was some sort of atmospheric distortion that resulted in analemmas occurring. And he was particularly condescending about it, which you have to like.
Wasn't it Eric Dubé?
That was Eric Dubé.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, okay.
And just something so cool. That's why I love this. I love this damn thing.
I thanks so much for showing us that, though, JL. That's such an awesome thing to have. I really like that.
There she is at the bottom.
Yeah. So we all
3,
sat
2,
around
1.
and
Stream gets shut down.
Thank you, Captain Cook, for all that you gave us.
In the description, I can write that we spent an inordinate amount of time looking at the larger of JL's balls.
Now, JL, take your globe and shove it up your countertop there. Put it back where you got it.
I'm gonna put my globe away. Okay.
Why, you going to put a hat on? I'm so happy he didn't hear that.
Nope.
Jessica G says, yes, it's awesome. Now put it away. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Fine, I'm taking my globe.
I'm so happy you missed my joke. You'll just have to wait and watch it back to hear it.
Dick.
Yeah, something like. So, what's going to happen in a couple of days, lads?
This is Tony's stream, man. What's going on?
Well, what I expect to happen in a couple of days is an explosion of low-grade violence.
Yep, I agree.
I expect that a bunch of people are going to be unhappy and going to express their unhappiness, and regardless of, so if it's the Trumpites, they're going to think that the election was stolen from them, and they're going to react violently to that proposition. And if the Democrats if the Democrats lose, they're going to be unhappy. They're going to protest. And then they're going to get shot at by Trump supporters. So I expect an explosion of low-grade violence, regardless.
There's a little bit of civil unrest.
Without a doubt.
All that is because here's the thing: the civil unrest. We can put that blame solely on the shoulders of Donald Trump.
Yep.
Regardless if you agree with Trump, if you support Trump or not, you have to realize that he is the one who has been stirring the pot on this whole, well, if I lose, it's bullshit.
Absolutely.
Blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, he's just manipulating the levers that have been made available to him, right?
Correct.
I mean, the individuals who go out and commit the violence have been permitted to exist in a world where their personal consequences and their delusions are quite pronounced. Like the whole thing about people taking up arms to protect their beloved grandparents from the death panels in Obamacare, for instance. Do you remember when that occurred?
I do. And it was the stupidest thing.
And did anybody go around and slap them down and say, "Listen, you fuckwit, you're protesting something that is unreal."
There is a video of some senator, so I have no idea who he was, talking about the death panels at a town hall, and the entire room, everybody assembled in that turned on him, saying, "No, you have not." And he was like, "Okay." They started to be like, "Well, then you haven't read it." You understand? We have read it. And he was like, "No, settle down,
here we
children.
go.
Settle down, children. You don't know what you're talking about." Totally insulting. But yeah, people
I worked at a pharmaceutical company shipping drugs, and there was this old man there, and he had to have been in his early to mid 80s. He was so old he didn't know when he was born.
Plot twist, he was God.
Anyway.
And there to deliver great life lessons.
No, definitely not. He was thoroughly convinced that the death panels were real. Kay Granger sent me this in the mail and said that, if we have Obamacare, then they're going to tell us old people we have to die. I said, dude, no, it's in the bill. I said, no, it is not. Yes, it is. I've read it. I said, the fuck you have. Dude, you can't read the label of the medicine that you're putting in that box. Don't tell me you read a fucking 1,000-page bill. So I printed out the bill and I read it cover to cover. It was the most boring thing I've ever read.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what I didn't find? The
Yeah.
euthanasia clause. So I brought the bill to him and said, here you go. If you look at section, I forget what section it was. If you look at section so-and-so and so-and-so, that's the closest thing we can find to what you would consider a euthanasia clause. These people are stupid. And here's a fucked up thing about that whole situation. All these assholes are worried about whether the government has the ability to say when and when you don't die, according to for healthcare reasons. Insurance companies already do that.
Yes,
Your insurance
they
company
did it ahead of time.
Yes, they are. They have stuff that said in their own policy bullshit, right? If you get cancer, they're not going to pay for your shit. You're dying.
Well, up to an extent.
Up to a certain point. There's a cutoff. We're like, hey, we're done. We're done keeping you alive.
Yeah. And you're on your own.
Yep.
It's that process is called rescission, where the insurance company moves to initiates legal proceedings to demonstrate that they're not responsible for funding the healthcare that they are in fact obligated to provide. And it killed people, and
that's silly because in war it's called triage, but it's called murder when I do it. What is that?
Well, it's not so much triage. You sign, the insurance company signed a contract saying that they would pay for this, but then they do the math later on and they go, well, that's actually more expensive than the money we're getting from this person, so we're going to find an excuse not to pay it by fraudulently misinterpreting their medical records to make it seem like they had a pre-existing condition or whatever. And they, and this was the situation that the US was in before the Affordable Health Care Act. And they got healthcare executives in and they said, we do that to make our companies as profitable as possible. It's strictly necessary. Otherwise, we'd be betraying our fiduciary duty to our shareholders. And you're just going, well, in which case, your priorities are wrong, the system is set up wrong, and the laws that apply to this are wrong. And there can be an argument made that it should not be the case that there is such a thing as a for-profit health insurance company. Mm-hmm. They should all be members owned, and that way you're not screwing over patients in order to pay off private investors who are already rich. As soon as you let private companies make a profit by killing people, they will do it. The question is, can they do it without, sending around hit squads, or do they need to do that as well? But they will do it if there's enough money in it for them. They'll just make sure that somebody else's name is on the paperwork.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm. I said Jessica G was like, enough with the killing off of the elderly shit, and it is crazy. It's insane, and I live in a state where the lieutenant governor or the governor of Texas and the lieutenant governor, Dan Patrick, advocated the death of the elderly, that someone needs to be able to take the hit to keep the economy open.
Right.
That the elderly should be willing to do that to save the economy and protect the future of the younger generation. So we have politicians. I live in a state where there are politicians that literally advocated this in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's beyond. I don't know how people did not march on his home when he said that. A politician saying, there's an area, or there's a demographic of the public that is expendable for the sake of dollars.
Yep.
Like legit. That's some 1984 shit right there. That's some Brave New World shit right there.
Yep.
And nobody marched on his house to decry that, which blew my mind. Maybe it's because we couldn't take the time off work.
Probably. Yeah, but we can't afford it. We can't afford to miss 10 minutes of work.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Tony.
No, after you.
Just one little bit of that last sentence there just kind of stuck out of my head. Talking about marching on people's houses, I want to ask you guys a bit of an opinion on this, all right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Extinction Rebellion, that group. So they're kind of like yeah, so basically, and I'm not sure if they're a vegan organization or not. Not that it really matters, but essentially they're all about protecting wildlife, and it's an incredibly noble thing, right?
Mhm.
But here's the problem:
Maybe
they are.
I mean, so they're very close, right? I mean, they do stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just about to get to. Yeah, so these people, like, they go into farms and steal animals and set animals free, and they like attack butchers and all this kind of crazy shit, right, all over the world, right? And while I was working in the courts, actually, quite a few of them came through the courts for going in and throwing like muriatic acid over a butcher's meat and all this kind of stuff, right? But here's where they crossed the fucking line. They decided to march on somebody's house. Now, this person said, I'll tell you what he said in a minute. Basically, they marched on Sir David Attenborough's house.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because, and I quote, he said, "The problem with the Extinction Rebellion is that they push people away from the movement because of their aggressive actions." What do? They prove him fucking right by showing up to his house while he's hiding out from COVID because he's 94 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let me tell you this. You want to end your legitimacy, you take on David Attenborough. Because David Attenborough doesn't have to do shit. Everybody else is going to look at you and say, how fucking dare you? David Attenborough has done more for this planet than any of those fuckers combined. He's one of the
regardless.
I want to make a point just earlier. Like, actually destroying somebody else's property or produce is not acceptable. That's over the line as well. Agreed. What you've just described is outrageous behavior, and the idea of attacking butchers are a result of a marketplace, right?
Exactly.
You want to reform. If you want to reform the market, you don't go to the individual sellers. That's ridiculous. It's never going to work, and it's just futile fucking virtue signaling as far as I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, Tony.
The man just wants to talk about nature and birds and stuff. How do you take a swing at David Attenborough?
I mean, look, David Attenborough, I think it's fair to say that he is, without a doubt, one of the most influential personalities that we've ever had. Mm-hmm. He is somebody who, if you go back over the last, 70 years of his career, my grandmother grew up listening to David Attenborough. My mother did. I did. Everybody has... Have you ever seen David Attenborough do something that you go, oh, fucking hell, Dave? Never. He's like the nicest, sweetest guy.
He's the only guy other than Morgan Freeman I want to narrate my life.
Yeah. And the other thing is, right, like, anybody else could go like, ew, look at that gross blobfish. David Attenborough would say, like, this is very unusual, but very beautiful in its own way. And it's like, you make everything sound so nice and lovely. You make people look at, like, these amazing films that he... Now, don't get me wrong. I know, obviously, the directors and the camera techs, etc., are responsible, but he ties it together with that passion. 94-year-old man making this incredible documentary that he's just finished. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but... I mean, how in the name of fucking God can you go after one of the most influential environmentalists of all time, ever, and go after him? You're like, he said that we're mean to people, so we're going to go and be mean to him. It's like, really? You bunch of whiny little fucks. And it's all these upper middle class fucking losers. And you know what? They'll sit there, they'll tweet about being at David Attenborough's house on their fucking iPhones, that, they had to they had to use fossil fuels and kill off fucking animals to make, and they're just hypocrites, man. It drives me insane.
Well-
it really fucking does.
Well,
You know, I had to look into him because I know everybody is familiar with David Attenborough. I had to look into like where he came from, and it was pretty cool. He comes from a history of academics, just a lineage of academics, and his father was the was a British academic and principal of University College in Leicester, which is pretty cool. Leicester, whatever. Y'all pronounce shit fucking weird, but that's badass. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is real.
How do you pronounce that sauce? What starts with W, JL?
Worcestershire.
Not bad.
It's
Not
Worcestershire
bad.
sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
Warwickshire, Chestershire.
I've heard Worcestershire. I've heard that Worcestershire sauce. It's Worcestershire sauce.
Okay.
It's shit
So-
you don't fucking use because it's got sardines in it.
So how do you pronounce it? Leicester.
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 Great rugby team.
Yes.
Lester. Leicester.
Pretty much. Yes.
Yeah, like Leicester
just
Nygaard.
spell it Leicester.
Except
what
that
fucking language is it?
historically, Chester is an old English term, which is why it ends up at the end of so many place names, and they keep it because it preserves the meaning of the place name. So when you see it written down, you can determine what the place name means. Whereas if you spelled it phonetically, you wouldn't be able to. Anyway,
yes, I know we uncouth colonials.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just went full American. Why don't you spell it in American?
I wanted to make
You're right back.
That
Sorry, I'm not from Islesworth, Middlesex.
Jesus Christ, you managed to butcher that too.
Center of a menage a trois.
One of the things that I think has become quite toxic, and in fact has led to has contributed massively to the situation we're in, is people feeling that they have the right to overreact, or that they have the right to be, incandescently upset because somebody dared to criticize them. Actually, a lot of the stuff that, your more active protesters do isn't necessary and does actually discredit their own movement. If they could just rein it in, they'd give their political opposition much less capital. I kind of think that nobody should go onto Nathan Oakley's channel to debate him. Just don't do it. It's a dumb idea. He's going to yell at you and mute you. You're never going to persuade anybody. The audience there is all flatards anyway, so you're better. And they tune in to see him yell at globetards. So if no globetards show up, his business model collapses, right? So if people just stop going onto his show, you can starve him into submission. You can drive him out of business, which we're doing anyway. It's just taking a longer time because people keep on going onto his channel. But they're feeding the model. If you wanted to shut down the right wing, the best thing to do would be to starve them of ammunition, not give them the talking points, rather than fueling their resentment and giving them irrational talking points that they can confuse the narrative with. Hold yourself to a higher standard and don't give in to that sort of narrative. At the same time, I do feel like at least some of the stuff that right-wing politicians do does deserve to be reacted to quite vehemently. Donald Trump stacking in the Supreme Court. Okay, we'll have 13 members from now on, and we get to appoint another 4.
Yep.
And no, I'm not in any way self-conscious or apologetic about suggesting it.
And why should we be? You're gonna play dirty. We can play dirty too.
Yeah.
If you are so irritated with the way the game of Monopoly is played that you fucking hit the board and walk away whenever you're losing, then don't get mad when we partake in those. If that's the standard we're setting, that we can be that, well, we say that if it's this close to an election when it wasn't nowhere near as close to the election as this one was, when Obama was trying to make his nomination for the Supreme Court, and then you go and give us fucking Brett Kavanaugh. I like beer. I like beer. Here's my calendar. I like beer.
Merrick Garland would have been an amazing justice.
Yes,
he'd been so good.
And then you give us this other lady,
Amy Barrett.
God bless. And you wonder why we call you out for being hypocritical pieces of shit.
That a Supreme Court justice who will not admit on the record that climate change is a legit thing.
Yeah.
Because of how it could affect her political, like, I guess, leanings. I have no fucking clue. I do not understand.
I don't understand why climate change is a political issue.
Money.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
no. I understand why it is. But it's just the stupidest thing. Because there's money to be made in going green.
There is money to be made in going green. The problem is the concept of imposing one of the most effective techniques for curbing our fossil fuel use would be an appropriate level of taxation on fossil fuel use, on carbon dioxide emissions. That sounds socialist to people.
Bloody commies.
And in fact, the environmental movement seems socialist to a lot of people. So a lot of scientists who actually came to prominence during the Cold War made it their mission to start discrediting environmental movements that they regarded as socialist and undermining American principles. And that's a large part of where this goes. You can, identify a few individuals who are, played a major role in generating disinformation, and they've done it multiple times. They attacked the DDT results. They attacked the ozone action. They also attacked passive smoking. Anytime there's any sort of problem that kind of needs government regulation or government response, they get up in arms because it's essentially communist, and that's where it comes from. People don't like it.
I had no idea, the concept of like saving the planet so that our species could freaking survive would be a communist ideal. Explain to me, and because I can't fathom it. I think I could. Why cannot people think in 25 and 50 year increments?
Oh, they can do so when it comes to bailing out American people. Well, if we spend all this money on this stimulus bill, our grandchildren are going to be the one who have to pay for it. They can't use that same logic when it comes to, hey, if we don't stop fucking up our world, our grandchildren are the one that's going to be choking to death.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I have not had kids. I'm 40 years old. I do not have children. I most likely will not have kids. I'm 40.
You don't have kids because you don't have any balls.
Fuck, dude.
Wow.
That
came out.
I gotta catch my breath, man. Fuck. I know we're playing for the laughs, dude. But come on, keep it above the belt.
I mean, it is.
That joke was designed to be below the belt.
But the reason
the setup was below the belt.
You know what?
It's kind of funny because
I had an anecdote. Carry the fuck on.
Okay, so
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to give Clive Wells a shout out because he says that the first global leader to bring the subject of climate change to the table was Margaret Thatcher, and he gets points for one of the greatest euphemisms of all time in the statement, "She was not a socialist." No, she wasn't. She was a fascist bitch. But
Agreed.
That's funny.
You know what she's referred to as in Ireland? She's just simply referred to as the bitch in number 10.
The bitch in number 10. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Her name is like
yes, Little Wolf. I was not. Yes, Little Wolf. I was not prepared for that.
You weren't prepared for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that, but I'm not prepared to talk about that. Yeah.
Hey, how do
my anecdote was this: is that I have not. It is a choice. I've chosen not to have kids. I probably will not have kids, especially now that I'm 40 and my wife's right behind me. So, I don't want to have children that grow up in a world without the amazing things that I have seen, or the inability to do the things that I have done, that I've been fortunate enough to do in my life, to see the things that I have seen. I don't want kids who grow up in a world, or grandkids who grow up in a world without a polar bear. Yeah, that's
well, but you'll be their
horrifying.
Polar bear.
Just
everybody deserves. Everybody deserves the right to hunt a polar bear at least once in their life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's fair. If you go through your life without clubbing a baby polar bear to death, then you haven't lived.
Tony,
What?
Tony, take us out of this darkness.
I was about to say, JL, just on an instructional note, if your wife is right behind you, then you're not in the correct position to make babies.
See?
Hey, you're getting better. You're getting better at this, Tony.
Yep.
You're getting better. You are.
I was thinking the same thing,
my
Tony. I
grandmother
almost said
was on
something, but I didn't.
That's good.
I cut his balls off earlier.
Blue Marble Science is in the chat, and
We got to church it up.
God damn it, his Cavendish experiment is just a work of art. It is a beautiful piece of
Because it's CGI.
craft. No, it's beautifully handcrafted carpentry.
I'll give you some time.
No, he manipulated the wood. Manipulated the wood like Team manipulated his laser.
His laser. Come on, Tony. I'm still waiting. What am I?
You blew your wad. You blew your wad on me. And now you have nothing left for Irish.
Again, another way that you're doing the whole children making thing wrong, JL.
The phrase that left my mind was
Sorry, Tony. Go on.
But I reconsidered that at the last minute as just being too offensive.
Oh wow, that must have been a big one then.
To Irish people more generally, to compare them to you. So
I'm not. My grandmother was only 80% Irish. We call her Iris.
Tony's getting that look that he has when he speaks to flat earthers, so you better watch out. He's gonna
pull out the whiskey next, and then we're all in trouble.
I feel like I now know how windows taste.
Yes, I'm actually for this. I'm going to support this. Jessica G says, clip JL saying, blow your load on me. It was at 108. And if Flat Derp doesn't use it, I have given Flat Derp so much content in this particular vid. I hope something shows up somewhere. That would be fucking sweet.
I think that would be freaking sweet.
Yep.
Dear, oh dear. Anyway, yeah.
We're at 69 minutes, just so you know. 69 minutes.
So the whole thing about why can't humans plan on 50-year cycles? We're actually badly evolved for it, right? And we're evolved to respond to stuff that we can see, smell, hear, and feel, and or stuff that we can easily work out is going to impact us. Like a flood, we may notice a flood is coming at some distance. Okay, I need to respond to that. But climate change is just too abstract. It's too large scale and it's too remote in the future. And humans are just poorly evolved to recognize it and respond to it with the urgency that it requires. But for me, it's absolutely terrifying. It plays a role in, like JL, it plays a role in my decision not to be a parent. Though actually, my primary driver, and that was, I think I'd just
not
be
having a penis.
That doesn't help. That clearly doesn't help.
Not finding a woman who wants to sleep with you.
Yeah.
Show me. Can't find a woman. Ding, ding, ding.
Survey says.
That's up there.
Survey says.
Survey says. I think that's 60%.
Can't find a suitable vagina. Ding.
No, primarily it was the belief that I'd just be a crap parent, really. I'd lose. I have temper issues. Don't think it makes me well.
No.
Temperamental.
Not you.
I would never.
But to
I
be
would
fair,
not have it.
to be fair, we've
can
only
just say
seen your temper issues with illogical flat earthers.
Shut up, you drongo wombat.
But you know what? Tony
Go
brings up
bother
a
your
interesting
mother.
point. Tony brings up a really interesting point about humans not being prepared, developmentally for it. There's a book, I don't recall which one it is. I think it was by Yuval Harari, where similarly, he talks about humans' lack of understanding of time and speed. And I guess it ties in with the whole flat Earth thing. Flat Earthers don't seem to be able to see what's beyond their own nose. And I guess if you think about it this way, human beings have been around for how long in our various forms? Well, roughly
5,000 years.
5,000 years since God switched on the light.
Homo sapiens have pretty much been evolving as we are like modern humans for about 250,000 years.
Yeah.
I would say that humans at the point where we began to walk upright was probably 3 million years, which is like nothing. Well, we're shit when it comes to on the evolutionary scale.
But here's the thing, right? So let's even go off the modern human. Let's say 250,000 years, right? Yeah. For 250,000 years, we've been walking and running relatively fast. Then we found a horse and a camel, and we jumped on it. We were able to go a little bit faster. Eventually, we got internal combustion engines. We were able to go a little bit faster. So therefore, flat earthers find it very difficult to understand 17,500 kilometers or 17,500 miles per hour. They find it hard to understand the vastness of the universe because they're just used to the inside of their parents' basement.
Well, you have to find a way to bridge the gap. So if they think, okay, if you're on a horse and you're running and you're going 35 miles an hour, or you're in a car and you're driving 60 miles per hour, or you're in a jet or you're in a plane and you're going 400 to 500 miles per hour. That's that I guess that linear idea, that the transferring that knowledge to like 3D space. It's two different areas of math. And so in geometry, when you're talking about arc time and then the revolutions of a 3D object in space, then things become different. I don't know why they're not able to make that jump. It's not that difficult of a jump. It's simply taking planar math and just moving it to three-dimensional math, which is really not that hard. But for some reason, they can't make that one little jump. So
they're evolutionarily stunted. That's basically it. Like, I mean, I don't see how you can see it any other way. It makes no sense. And Jessica G, bite me.
And
I'm just pointing out to Jessica G that you taught me everything I know about being boring.
Absolutely, fucking everything you know.
So today we're either vicious towards each other or we're fucking boring. So this has just been a great fucking stream.
Well, then fuck all of you.
It's basically Christmas at my parents' house, like vicious and fucking. Until my brother's like, "Hey, who wants a tequila?"
This is a standard Irish holiday where pretty much everybody's just mean to each other, and
it's mean and fucking boring until my brother comes along with tequila and joints. and then you just get higher than astronaut shit, and everything's way more bearable. It's like
Jessica G, I'm sorry, it cannot be an Irish wake every time we stream.
Hey, an Irish wake is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
There you go.
Yes.
It fucking is. There's a song called Finnegan's Wake that'll tell you about how crazy an Irish wake can be. I remember when I was a kid. I mean, I was like 5 or 6 when wakes were still really popular, like old style smoking fucking pipes and all that shit. And I think it was my great aunt or something. And that party went on for 4 days. Like it was just nonstop fucking partying, to the point where I think people forgot who died. And maybe some other people died. I'm not really sure. It's like,
if your wake doesn't lead to another wake, you did it wrong.
You did it fucking wrong. Nobody ever liked you. It's it's pretty.
I think. What about in Snatch when Mickey's mother was killed and they held the funeral for her? Was something similar to that?
Oh yeah. Like I've been to some very subdued funerals over the years. They funerals can be, but like my grandmother's funeral was a fucking ball, man. It was because Kitty is what we called her, my grandmother, or Kittler sometimes. She was to this day, and I mean this, hand on my heart, one of the funniest people that I have ever met in my entire life. She was hilarious. She had a tongue that could clip a hedge. Like she was so fucking quick, right up till the day she died. I remember one time, it's one of my favorite things that she ever said. There's two. I'll just tell you these very two quick stories that she said. She was an old style Irish woman. She gave up on the Catholic Church towards the end because they gave up on her. And, but anyway, I remember when I was about, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13. And she used to stand out at the gate at the end of her driveway. And she'd, meet everybody passing by. And of course, when the priest would come, or she used to live up the road from this an old Bishop Buckley, and he was an asshole. He was one of these old style, he'd wear the mitre or mitre, whatever the fuck it's called, and he'd be very like, my child, one of these old style asshole bishops. And, but because she grew up in that era, like the 1920s or whatever, 1930s, she kind of had to, genuflect and go along with the whole thing. And I remember he came along and she, kissed the ring and all the rest of it. And, she was like, oh, yes, Your Grace, and blah, 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 blah. And have a lovely day, Your Grace. And as soon as he walked not 5 feet away, she turned around to me and she goes, see him? He's a right little cunt, that fella. And the other thing, she met the president. She met the president one time at my, I can't remember, it was some event that I was involved in, some acting thing or whatever, and the president was there and was handing out the awards or whatever, and Mary McAleese was the president at the time. Lovely woman, but the wrong politics for my grandmother, big time. And it might come as a shock to some people, but Irish politics is a little bit hot. And when we were, being introduced to the president or whatever, she was walking along and our teacher was introducing us, and my grandmother was with me. And she said, and, this is John, and this is what he did, and this is his grandmother, Kitty. And when my grandmother shook her hand, now, the language you might not understand because the Cork slang is a bit strange, but to catch something or caught means to touch something. So she would say, she shook hands with the president of Ireland and said, that's the biggest piece of shit I caught in my life. And caught means touch. And the president was fucking gobsmacked. And I was like, Kitty, I was like, I'm sorry, Madam President. She was like, no, that's fine. And she moved on. And my mother was stood behind us and she was like, Jesus Christ. She just called the president a piece of shit. She hated her. She fucking hated the president. Nothing. And Mary McAleese was one of the best presidents we ever had. She even made the Queen of England speak Irish, which is mind-blowing. She bridged a lot of gaps, but my grandmother fucking hated her. She used to say, oh, she's a turncoat, fucking blue shirt and all this stuff. Because my grandmother was hardcore. She was hardcore Republican, like big time. because she saw her brothers fight in the Civil War and her uncles fight in the Civil War and getting turned in London and all that stuff. So she was tough, man. But she was one of the funniest human beings. And every time I open the fridge, there's a picture of her there, makes me smile. It was her. It's a kind of a cute picture of her with a Santa hat on. She hated Christmas. She was born on Christmas Day. And there's a picture, a really sweet old lady with a Santa hat on.
Did you just say that your grandmother is Jesus?
Correct. Confirmed. But the funniest thing about this picture, and it makes me smile every fucking time I see it, it makes me smile because the picture is her all sweet with a Santa hat on. But the second the photograph was taken, she said, "How would you get this fucking thing off my head?" So when you see the picture, she's all sweet and lovely on Christmas Day on her birthday with a Santa hat on. But in reality, she was shouting at us for putting this stupid fucking thing on my head.
So the chat has loved your story. Nerd Angle would like to say, "Cool story, bro. Needs more relevance." Jessica G would say, Irish Doman. Great story. Don't ever tell it again. Jessica G is also falling asleep.
Okay.
Clive Wells says, some anecdotes should be left untold.
Well, what you can all do is take your condoms and to a little ball and shove them directly up your assholes.
Jessica G says, tell us that one story, Irish. Tell us that one story, Irish, but do it in sign language so other people can talk.
Wow. Well, why don't you just shove your hands up your ass and clap? How about that? Because from what I hear, Jessica G, from what I hear, you put your hands up your ass, do the fucking YMCA. It's that wide, so suck that. I can be mean too, you know. Fuck you all, every single one of you.
Fact hard. If Jesus was real, he would have been born in the fall. Hey, you know how Jesus stays so ripped? CrossFit.
Hey, Jesus.
I fucking love that joke.
Jesus had a Honda, but he never spoke about it. He said, "For I do not speak of my own accord." Hey.
And this is why you had to eat spicy wings.
What's the first example? Oh, fuck you. What's the first example of athletics in the Bible? When Jesus cleared the temple.
Yeah.
These fucking headphones broken or what?
That was funny than your joke.
Only soccer fans get this, right? What's the first story about soccer in the Bible? When Jesus went up for the cross.
Oh God, that's pretty sad.
Somebody get him some more hot wings.
My mom loved that joke.
Okay, yes. This guy, Jessica G, this guy telling jokes. Get him off the stage. Where's the big crook? And,
What we need Statler and Waldorf, right? Boo, boo, the bear's a comedian. The comedian's a bear. Boo, boo.
Fucking what? Hey, Tony, when you saw those movies, was there a guy in the corner playing the piano? Like,
no, that's a good one.
Did you used to call them the moving films?
They used to.
Moving pictures.
When you saw a show, did you used to flick your pennies on the stage so the actors could eat that night?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
The Electric Shadows. That's what that's the cinema. Oh, jeez.
Old school. That's fucking ancient school.
Yes.
More, not a big deal.
Nerd Angle says, "Can Irish just go back to eating weird shit?"
I had to eat some weird shit earlier this week.
I have to say, I'm a bit disappointed with Irish. I got, some of that stuff. And did you see me rolling around like some gigantic girl's blouse?
Are you taking aim, sir, at the literal blouse that I was wearing? It's not my fault that you're able to just deep throat Jepson's Malort like it's nothing. It's literally famous for being disgusting, and Tony's like, "Give me more."
No, I don't want more. But if you're gonna,
Why
it's
did you-
just
Okay, I could get the drinking, but why did you do this with the Malorts?
that's just instinct as far as Irish is concerned. Like,
Yes.
Get it down to the speed.
Oh man.
I think I killed Jam.
Backtard says Jesus jokes suck. Not sure why. And no, they don't. Jesus jokes are amazing. In fact, if there's anyone who ever if he actually existed, who would laugh at Jesus jokes, it would be Jesus himself. I think
because he was
would.
hippie, right?
Huh?
He was a bit of a hippie, wasn't he?
He was. I
Like,
mean, he was.
yeah,
I think he
like
would find them funny.
SoCal type.
If it was like, "Hey, Jesus, how you stay so ripped? CrossFit," you'd be like,
This guy.
Yeah. I actually had nothing to eat back then, but yeah, that's still funny. I get that. It's great.
Yeah.
So, you know,
there is.
when Jesus goes to a nail bar, do they have to do like 6 on each hand? Or?
He walks into an inn, gives the innkeeper 3 nails, says, "Can you put me up for the night?"
Oh, Jesus.
Exactly.
You know, I can tell. You know, I can tell something about your religion from that joke.
Go
About
on.
my about whose religion?
Yes. Yeah. Well, 3 nails definitely identifies you as non-orthodox. In the Orthodox churches, Jesus's feet are nailed side by side, so that's 4 nails.
Yep.
I can say that's where that joke comes from. Now, I was confirmed Methodist.
So that would be unorthodox.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in our Methodism falls on the Arminianism. Oh yes. Who asked that quote? Are you Irish Demon? Oh,
That's Irish.
Because shit, I was just about to say that.
Oh, really? I didn't want to say it out loud because it's fucking disgusting.
It's
and
an
brutal,
awesome
but
joke.
true.
It's
No, it's a great
for those.
joke. Fucking
Okay,
great
it's an awesome
joke.
joke. So what is the difference between a priest and acne? Acne waits till you're 13 to come on your face.
Okay, so
But yes, I'm saying that Methodism falls into the Arminianism side, whereas we are Leo. We're not Calvinistic. They're not
fuck off.
Calvinistic.
Who
Can I
cares?
just give you guys
What?
a religious joke that I think you'll genuinely like?
Oh,
What?
okay.
All right. So there's these 3 nuns, and it's the middle of the summer, and they're redecorating the house. Right? Okay? Are you with me,
No.
or are you
Lost
an
us.
action frozen?
Sorry,
what is this? What is this
So
house
we-
concept you're talking about?
Okay, so a house is like anyway. So they're redecorating the house, right? And it's really, really hot. So the nun is like, "Fuck this! I'm taking off my habit." So she takes off her habit, and she's got like her regular clothes underneath or whatever. And there's a knock at the door, and they were like, "Oh shit, who is it?" And he said, "Oh, I'm here with the tiles. I'm the tile man." So she says, "Okay." So she opens the door, comes in, does the tiles, fucks off. So they're painting or whatever. It's fucking really, really, really hot. So they're like, "Oh, fuck this. I'm taking off my clothes." So the 3 nuns get naked and they're painting. And next thing there comes a knock at the door. And they're like, "Shit, we got to put our clothes on." They're like, "Who is it?" And he said, "It's the blind man." So they're like, "Oh, thank God he's blind. Let's just leave your clothes off. Open the door." So they open the door. A guy walks in with blinds under his arm, says, "Hey, nice tits, sister. Where'd you want the blinds?"
Yeah, that was
Brilliant.
yeah. It's about as obvious as an elephant with on rollerblades going through a China
All right.
store.
Last one.
Yeah,
last
you
one.
can see it coming from a last one. No,
Last one. I promise. I reckon this one.
Before you jump in
just gave you the red light.
the Microraptor, yes, I was defining the Christianity that I do not believe in, because it is important to know where you came from so you can talk about it. And I talked to you about it's like, oh yeah, religion sucks. What do you know about religion? Oh, I don't know shit. I just I have to be able. I've been got to know this stuff. And yeah, that's why I was talking with Skeptic Dank, and was it Dank? Yeah, Skeptic Dank, and he's a former Baptist. And there is history.
Preacher's son.
There's history between the Baptists and the Methodists there, and he was not aware of that. But it's funny. It's not bad blood, but it's just a funny kind of animosity between the foot-washing Baptists and the kind of, commie pinko Methodists in that respect. So there's, it's fun that we'll watch the two go at each other. And he was unaware of that, but we can work that in because we plan on doing some religious, some theist stuff
awesome.
In the future, which will be really, really good because it'll be like the former Baptists and the former Methodists working together, which is kind of neat. So
that would be awesome. Anyway, before I was fucking rudely interrupted.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Shut the fuck
that's what
up,
I promise. Shut the fuck up, Nathan. That was one of my favorite moments of all time. Anyway, Jesus walks into a restaurant. He says, "Can I get a table for 26, please?" The waiter says, "But there's only 13 of you." He said, "Yeah, we're all going to sit on the same side." Come on, that was so good. Oh, you suck. All of you suck. Eat a
Do you see that bottle of Reaper Squeezins behind you?
Dick.
Do you see the bottle of Reaper Squeezins behind you?
So last week,
Go get a cracker.
Last week, if I recall, I suggested that there should be some form of manual punishment for people who pick intellectual arguments that are wrong. And I feel, Irish, like you just picked the intellectual argument, this stuff is funny. And I really feel...
Right on. I'm not doing chili again. I'm not going to have a bright red asshole for the rest of the week. It's not happening. Japanese flag asshole, no way.
And it surprises me because the snippet you did on MC Toon's video with you driving backwards and forwards looking for Eric, that was funny.
That was funny. And Mrs. Demon was adorable in that.
She was.
Because there was something funny I remembered being associated with, because when you research religion stuff, you find out funny stuff, like funny things. This is one of the funniest things ever. So Jesus comes from the shortening of the Hebrew version of the name Joshua. Okay, while Christ simply means the anointed one. So to make this clear to modern Christians, any Christians out there, there should be a new translation of the Bible where Jesus is just referred to as Oily Josh. Because that's technically what he was Oily Josh and his unwashed apostles because they never bathed. So it's like,
So my response to that story is, why were we letting Irish speak? If you were sitting on that for 20, 15, 20, 30. It seems like 50 years since.
Oh, fuck you! Hey, guys, if you want to, I always say it. If you want to get some sleep, don't reach for that bottle of sleeping tablets. You know what I'm going to say next. I sent you guys an awesome joke because apparently, according to all the fuckers in the chat, I'm not allowed to say jokes anymore. So I'm just going to type them. We're going to type them in the Four Beardsman chat here on our own server so you guys can enjoy it.
Funny. Some of them are.
JL, you read out my last joke. I bet it gets a better reaction than if I read it because you're all racist.
Yes, we're racist against unfunny people.
I only believe 12.5%, which makes an atheist.
Oh, shit. I meant to say of the Bible.
That's what you fucking wrote, dude.
Jesus, great joke, Irish. Yeah,
that's what you wrote. Read as written.
Okay, I only believe 12.5% of the Bible, which makes me an atheist. Atheist. An atheist? Like 1/8?
Yeah, just say it a few more dozen times. That'll make it funnier.
Because explaining it always makes it go down better.
That's the point.
I can't wait to see you at the Improv. See, what you guys don't get is get the fuck off the stage.
Anyway, we're being a bit harsh on Irish.
I think you can all go fuck yourselves, truth be told. You know, you
You
can
are-
apologize all you want, but you can suck a big fucking
No, I'm
dirty
just
choke.
happy the focus turned off. The focus turned off me and went to Irish. Okay, we
Oh,
went to my inability to have kids because I don't know how to have sex right. To Irish, his inability
Hey.
to make a person laugh and putting the chat to sleep.
no.
So
Look, if you have sex with your wife behind you, good for you. Like, if that's the way you
No,
both
no
roll,
kink shame.
no criticism.
But it's objectively wrong, though. Like, if the desired outcome is offspring and you're in a different side of the fucking room facing the wrong way, it's not going to work. Unless you've got a really good aim and or 12-foot penis.
What, you don't think that going for the rebound is going to work?
You never know.
You never know.
Just got to get stuck in and try. Oh, wait, that's a bad choice of words.
Irish, tell us another
They
joke.
bring out the worst in us.
They do. I saw.
Jessica G says Irish Demon is that unfunny guy that has to explain why his bad jokes are funny to him. Jessica G is that one person that says the same fucking joke in every single chat. So how about that?
Snappy
Shots
comeback. Yeah.
Irish Demon, tell us another joke.
yeah. Well, you're unoriginal.
Irish Demon,
Well,
tell us another joke.
favorites is if you want my comeback, you're gonna have to scrape it off your mom's teeth.
That's a Jimmy Carr comeback. You're not.
Yeah, I fucking told him that one. So
Irish
Did
Demon,
you?
tell us another joke.
okay. I don't think you deserve my jokes, truth be told.
Dear idea.
What's the difference between the real Jesus and a picture of him?
They're both fake.
Now, a picture only takes one nail to hang.
Oh.
Nice. There's a
I've got a really brutal one, but I think I might actually get fucking beheaded if I say it, so I'm not going
Oh, please make a Muhammad joke.
Okay, Jesus said, my faith can move mountains. Muhammad said, my faith can move skyscrapers.
Oh, Jesus.
I fucking told you it was brutal, but hey, look,
What does a priest have in common with a Christmas tree?
the balls are just for show.
The balls are just decoration.
Oh, man.
The funny thing is, none of you can hear. None of the beersmen can hear what I'm doing back here. But
Are
the
you
chat
masturbating
can.
again?
The chat can hear it, but you guys can't.
Right.
What are you fucking doing, JL?
I was doing the same thing you were doing. I do it. I just do it differently.
I just did it wrong. Made no sound, and I just look like I'm pinching my own cheek for no reason. Literally no sound.
How do you get a nun pregnant?
Oh my god. There's a few answers to this stuff.
Dress her as an altar boy.
Oh lordy. That's fucking brutal.
What did Jesus and I have in common? Both our dads left us.
Oh wow. That's wow. That's well, here's the thing, right? I can't remember who it was that said it earlier. It's like Jesus is like, I died for you. It's like, yeah, but he resurrected himself 3 days later. So if anything, he just gave up a fucking weekend for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
I nailed my Jewish girlfriend so hard she turned Christian.
Oh
Was Jesus a Christian though?
no, he wasn't. In fact, he was. There's an argument to be made that he was actually an ultra Orthodox Jew. But you know, if you believe the Bible story, so God killed his own son in order to protect us from the punishment that he was going to administer on us because of the rules that he applied to us. Are we getting this right? Because it seems like if God had just stayed out of the fucking way, none of this would have been necessary.
None of this shit would have happened in the first place.
Happened, yeah.
This happened.
So, last one. What's the difference between Jesus and a hooker?
Hold on.
The look on their face when you're nailing them.
I don't know. It depends on who's nailing them. If it was you, I think the look would be fucking same.
Oh God, if
For horror.
it's the girl, if it's the hooker, it's like woman in peril.
Pretty much like from fucking. Nah, never mind. I can't remember the name of it. I'm never going to remember the name of it.
Yeah, well, that great anecdote, Irish. You're lifting the tone yet again.
It was one of my better stories. It was one of my better stories.
One of your better stories. Oh, dear, oh dear. I've got lots of stories that I love about my grandmother, but they just take too long to tell.
Is this okay? The chat is hysterical. I have Jessica G. I haven't laughed since you started speaking. Christian Cunnilingus? No. Gunnelius. Christian Gunnelius. I know a good joke. Nathan Thompson.
That is a good one.
X Penguin 95. Is this a reverse joke seminar where the jokes get less funny?
Wow, you people suck.
Clyde Wells. Oh wait, no. The strange idea of a sacrifice that rescinds the sacrifice 3 days later. Yeah, well, that's a big sticking point with this atheist.
Jessica G.
At what point does Irish Demon pull a Kramer?
Wow.
Like Richards?
Wow. That actually. Do any of you guys see Bert Kreischer's new Netflix special?
Not yet.
By any chance?
It
was so the one where he talks about the N-word, but not that N-word. Oh my God, it's one of the funniest things. He's like, his daughter comes up, she's like, or whatever his sister's name. She just said the N-word, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God. And then they go over and they're like, did you just say the N-word? He goes, yeah, I can say it because I am one. And they're like, what do you think the N-word is? He was like, Dad, I'm a nerd. And then he's like, okay. And then they're with friends and the kid comes over and goes, she just said the C word. And the old lady's like, oh my God, she said the C word? And then he's like, no, don't worry. We've been through this before. Honey, what's the C word? He's like, cunt.
No, his delivery was much better.
Have you?
Come on.
For God's sake.
God damn.
Just there's my brother sent me a link to a Bill Burr performance in Philadelphia, and so this was some open air performance in the summer, and the Philadelphians were just out barbecuing, and having a good time, just not paying attention to the performers. And Bill Burr was the last person on stage, so he'd been there for fucking ages. And he got out and just, they weren't paying attention, they weren't laughing, they weren't reacting at all. And he just spends his entire 12-minute set excoriating, just fucking playing into them. Just, you use.
And he's like, I'm going to use up this whole 12 minutes.
That was right. The heckler. That was the heckler. Yes. It's like, what do we got? 5 minutes left? I can fill 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yes. 5 minutes.
Absolutely hilarious.
You know what? When I walk out of here, my wallet's going to be full of your dollars, you fucking idiot. What was it he calling me? Fucking reprobates?
Two things. Irish Demon. Nerd Angle says Irish Demon was checking if you all saw the special before he used some of his jokes.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then Boggs. Boggs is one of the best. I think this could be better framed as a joke. What's the funniest thing I've ever seen? What's the funniest thing you could ever see? Jesus eating Maltesers.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait for it.
There you go.
So, just completely derailing the fucking show here, away from our collective hilarity. I just got a message from one of my marks. I think most people would probably know. What's going on with me hunting people down and all the rest of it. So I had one person who believed that I was a 15-year-old and all that kind of stuff, sending, very intimate images and all of this kind of stuff. And basically, he's figured out that I am not a helpless 15-year-old boy and that I'm, in fact, an adult. So he just sent me a message saying, I know you're an adult and trying to catch me. I'm so sorry, but you are dishonest too. Maybe we can leave it and leave it go because we both did wrong. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
No.
So-
Well,
He's equating his child predation with your. I
Not
guess-
only
Pretending.
child predation, trying to solicit a child for lewd acts, trying to solicit images from a child, sending a child explicit images of himself and videos,
Right.
and telling me as a 15-year-old what he's going to do and all that stuff. And he says that because I was trying to catch him out, that I am equally as bad as him and that I should just let it go.
Yeah, but you have the
That's-
evidence to
that's
nail
not
him
how
on
this
transmission.
works.
Yeah, you have him on the. You have
Oh,
him with
yeah.
evidence of transmission of child pornography and solicitation. So it's done.
He didn't actually transmit any child pornography, but he sent pornography to what he believed to be a child.
yeah.
So he didn't actually send any
Oh,
child.
so he technically just
just
transmitted
just-
pornography. Okay.
But
tried to say-
there's still criminal offences, and they still
Oh yeah, loads. There's a laundry list. So tomorrow I have a meeting anyway tomorrow with a local detective. By some stroke of amazing luck, our local police station is where the headquarters of the child sex crime unit is. So it's about 3 blocks from where I live, pretty much. So I'm gonna head down there tomorrow and
I would suggest just, at this point, taking the evidence you've got to the authorities.
that's what I'm going to do, because now I'm not going to be able to meet him anyway. So
I gotta ask:
yeah.
is it as bad for them in prison as it is here in the States?
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Over here they have it's still pretty fucking bad, don't get me wrong. So so in our prison where I did a lot of my work, we had what was called D wing, which was where people were on protection, and then within D wing you had another separate wing which was solely for child predators and police officers. So they were separated from each other as well.
So we have a similar thing
and
here in the States, but it doesn't work.
they're protected.
Yeah,
It
we had
doesn't
a
work.
we had a child predator who lost an eye while in prison because he got beaten up so badly. So
That's
it's
it.
Pardon?
That's it. I heard one time. I've heard that of them getting raped with bandsaws in Rikers,
Yes,
Rikers Island. Yeah, there's
Well,
or
guy,
plunger handles and shit.
there was
Well,
a guy
I had
the handle.
a guy of our who was a very regular contributor to our system. He was convicted. We call it a CSO, child sex offender. Pretty bad stuff too, from going back as far as the 80s and right up to modern day. And he was beaten to death, like badly beaten over the space of 12 hours and stuff like that. So it is bad, but it's not as bad as it is in the States.
Yeah, in the state, I mean, most often and not, the reason that many of these people do not want to go to prison because they will not survive. There is a kind of code in the States where amongst the general population of convicted criminals, you don't target women, you don't target kids. You don't target women, but you especially don't target kids.
Yeah.
And those who prey on children are a particular kind of trash that these people will take out in a heartbeat.
So, at the risk of sort of derailing the conversation, this is actually an important theme in the television series The Outsider. I'm not sure if any of you have ever come across it.
No.
So
I am listening. I just got to go take a Riley, but I am listening.
It follows the story of a guy who gets arrested for child abuse and murder, but the circumstances of the crime are spectacularly vicious, and it has I'm told that it's based on a Stephen King story. So actually, he has what he considers an alibi, but there is enough evidence against him that it is just overwhelming. They think that the alibi witnesses are lying to protect him. It's actually a really interesting series. It explores sort of some of these themes a little bit.
The Outsider, about the Oh, I don't want to spoil it because I actually know what's actually going on in the story. But yeah, it's very, very good. But yeah, that's a solid depiction of the way Americans look at child predators or child molesters or pederasts in general.
Okay. I would like to change the subject because apparently the chat doesn't appreciate the terrible jokes into the child porn.
This is a particularly dirty episode.
So here we go. I came across this headline Friday, right before the podcast, and I think it's probably the funniest thing I've read in the news. Costco to stop selling coconut milk over reported forced monkey labor in Thailand.
Yep. I heard about this. It's apparently it's even though the company involved has published a report saying that they have done their due diligence claiming that they have done their due diligence as far as forced monkey labor is concerned. So yeah,
I don't like that monkey business.
Oh man. Stop selling coconut milk because of monkey labor.
Yep. Stephen Colbert did a snippet about it on his show.
Oh, on the Tonight Show, not Tonight Show.
Yeah.
The Late Show.
The Late Show.
Oh well, it's our late show at the moment. I think he emphasizes that, but it's a rather interesting sort of story. Apparently
they beat their monkeys.
They beat their monkeys.
I realized that a lot of people, we went into the dirty jokes and we went into Irish's moonlighting as a superhero. This is this is our natural response to this goddamn year. I mean, other than COVID-19, other than lockdowns, other than no help from the governments, the fact that Sean Connery just passed away, the fact that James Randi passed away this year, the fact that this year has just sucked so much ass, and this is the Nathan Thompson of years.
Nathan Thompson is. I mean, no, I wouldn't give Nathan Thompson that kind of clout.
Oh, he's not that good. So what is this? Is this the Eric Dubé of years?
I wouldn't give that asshole that kind of clout either.
Flat Earth Aussie Jesus of years?
I wouldn't give any of those assholes that kind of clout.
Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, really so we have to find some way to laugh at this year. We have to find some dark way to get a laugh out of this year. Otherwise, we'll all just be fucking depressed all goddamn day.
Yes.
And I realize I'm cussing up a storm. There's a little plot hole nearby.
There is, and she's telling us all about her painting that I'm holding up.
Oh, nice. I wish I could see that.
It'll be up on stream here in a second.
Yes, Nerd Angle. Yes. The 2020 can just,
can do that.
You can say fuck off.
Yeah, 2020 can fuck the hell off. Oh, that's adorable.
And then, we said the same thing about 2016. What's going on? I think 2016 was the beginning of 2020. Well, no, I don't think it was, because that's the year that the United States elected the baboon's ass.
It's been all, Debbie, I don't see how no, I don't even want to put that evil on us. I really don't.
You understand that there's an asteroid sweep.
What?
Nothing. Tony came in with the right word and fucking ruined it.
Well, he's talking about Apophis, and I've been reading that. So I've been tracking news on Apophis for some time because
I tried, Chad. I tried.
They say because they say that there's no for the longest time there's been no chance. There's no chance Apophis is going to hit us. No chance Apophis is going to hit us. Then why the fuck did you name it Apophis? Okay. I'm sorry, but he was like, oh no, we've redone our measurements. As it gets closer, we can see it. We see with the Yarkovsky effect on the asteroid. We don't think it's going to hit us. But you named it after the god of chaos and death.
Yeah.
If this thing hits us, which it is likely to do in 2068, when this thing hits us, this is a global event. This is an extinction event. If this thing hits us, this goddamn asteroid is 300 meters wide.
Well,
that leads me to an interesting question, right?
Do you way to lift the mood?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I tried. I mean, I'm over here making monkey
That's
labor
the
jokes.
problem. That's the problem with this
And
damn
all
year.
you
There is
motherfuckers gotta
nothing
start talking
uplifting.
about inbound
There is
asteroids
nothing
that are coming to
uplifting
take
to
us all
talk
out.
about. There is nothing uplifting to talk about. There's not. There really isn't. We're gonna have to wait until we get into 2021. This year is so ruined that there is nothing we can talk about other than Mandalorian season 2.
I was gonna say.
Way to talk up. There's nothing we can talk about. Watch our next live stream. What are you going to say?
What good did happen in 2020 though? Realistically, let me Google that.
I met you guys.
Yeah,
The fact that
see?
you have to Google.
The
So-
Beardsman
what
became
happened
a
this
thing.
year.
The Beardsman became
All
a
right,
thing.
let's see. 50 positive things. What became a thing?
The Beardsman, the 4 Beardsmen. This show
That's
became
true.
a thing
Oh
in
yeah.
2020.
So again, what good things happened? Because chat obviously love us, right?
Oh, Jessica G would dispute that, Johnny, by the way, that we are a good thing that happened in 2020.
So we've got over 50 viewers at the moment. So, I mean, yeah, that's nice.
See?
They're all laughing at us.
Well, as long as they're
Yeah.
laughing. As long
Well,
as they're
that's-
laughing.
Oh, something big that happened in 2020 that was entertaining, if nothing else. Tiger King.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I don't know if I would call that a good thing, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining, but I mean, for us Americans, that's it's like, yeah, that's the way the world fucking sees us all goddamn day.
We got
That's,
to
yeah, I mean,
boggle at
thank
we
you.
got to boggle at a redneck woman who got away with murdering a husband, and that's a good thing. That's
this
that's
is how,
the positive news you went
this
for.
is how the world sees us. It's like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for making the worst of us popular, so that the rest of the world is just like, yeah, we pretty much knew America was fucked. Yeah, that's pretty much them all day long. It's like
I'm
one
looking
giant.
at
Just rename the fucking country Florida and be done with it.
I'm looking at a list of 50 good things that happened in 2020, and I've got to say, they all suck. Like, drive-in movie theaters made a comeback. Who gives a shit? Drive-in concerts are a thing now. That sounds fucking terrible.
Yep.
Tiger King. We got to watch Tom Brady and Peyton Manning play golf. So who gives a shit? Like restaurants shared their recipes. Wearing sweatpants and tees became acceptable. Like, what in the name of fuck? How is that? Who's Carly Rae Jepsen?
What do you want, BuzzFeed?
No, Columbus.
This is some
Columbus
bored
Dispatch.
ass
We all
blogger
read it, right?
let me think of things that are interesting.
Oh
Yeah.
my fucking god! If hold on a second, if these people are telling me that this is a good thing that happened in 2020, they've lost all credibility. TikTok became a thing to beat our boredom.
Yeah,
TikTok.
this is
Okay.
someone
They're
was
spies
paid
from China.
someone was paid $8.50 an hour to write that shit.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I had a momentary glimpse of you finishing that sentence in a completely different way.
TikTok.
TikTok became a thing to beat, and
Off to.
I thought you were going to go in a completely different direction there.
No, that's
Um,
OnlyFans.
Oh, okay, all right, that's OnlyFans. All right,
Yep.
this social media stuff.
It just hit me what you were getting at there. I was so fucking lost.
I even said it. I said what he was thinking.
What did you say?
Off to.
To beat off to.
Yeah.
And he's
Okay.
still lost.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, he's in it. He's in a wave of despondency.
Someone throw him a
he's-
potato. Someone throw him a
he is-
potato and lead it back to us.
I actually would fucking love a potato right now.
So Kristen Gunalinga says
when I-
one good thing that Nathan Thompson's Facebook group was deleted.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
that was a
that's
good
strong.
thing. Yes. Okay.
That
you're
is strong.
welcome, everybody. You're welcome. I
Yep.
did that.
You did that?
Oh, hey
Yeah,
guys, I
reported
gotta duck out for a second. I've got a work call.
On a Sunday?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, you're store manager, so yeah, fuck it.
Fuckers. I'll be back in a few.
He is what we refer to as exempt here in the States. He does not get hourly wage or hourly bonus or overtime. He gets a flat rate for the work he does, no matter how many hours he works.
Yeah.
And that means they've got your ass on the weekends too.
They got
Bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude. While he's doing that, I was a store manager for GameStop. And as a store manager, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, and driving all over town 7 days a week. Yeah, I was just gas was like $4 a gallon at the time, and I'm running around doing that. I was getting paid $30,000 a year.
Is that bad or good?
Yes, that's awful. That's awful.
Oh, okay.
For
'Cause
60
I
to
don't know
70,
why. I don't know.
60 to 70 hours a week, 7 days a week. No, and I don't even get holidays off. Okay, I technically have days off, but I'm technically on call on those days. So I'm 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and also working outside of hours, doing like stuff when I'm not technically on the clock, and driving all over. I was managing 3 stores around the Dallas Metroplex, which is enormous. So I'm all over the place. Spend all this. They're not covering my gas. They're not even. I can't even write my gas off or get reimbursed while I'm on the clock, and getting paid $30,000 a year. That's it. $30,000 a year with benefits that only did me because you had to be a store manager for 10 years to get your spouse on your benefits. So the benefits only covered me, and it was the bare minimum. Yeah.
That is crazy.
I basically had liability only insurance on myself. Just the basic stuff. It was awful, and I was getting paid $30,000 a year for that. Yep.
That's fucking madness.
Well, they're kind of infamous for that sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They are still. I think for the past 6-7 years, GameStop has consistently been on the top 10 worst companies to work for in America, and I was with them for a little over a decade. I went from a game advisor all the way up to multi-unit manager.
So there's an analogy that I've always had ever since I read about it. The Aztecs used to have a form of slavery where you could sell yourself as a slave to another person. And you went to that person's estate and you worked there during the day, and then you went home in the evening. And if you died while you were working, that was the end of the arrangement. But if you died at home, your family had to supply a replacement. And it's kind of always struck me that a lot of modern sort of wage arrangements aren't that dissimilar to that particular idea. You're basically selling your life away. They just do it in a lump sum rather than pay you a wage.
That's fucking crazy.
And then, when I finally got the stones to leave GameStop, I hired on with CompUSA, which no longer exists anymore. That company went out of business. But I worked for CompUSA, and I got bumped from. I was a third key for a store, so my responsibilities went from 3 small stores to 1 big box store. About 100 employees underneath me that I had to deal with, working upwards of 90 hours a week for $32,250.
Jesus.
There you go.
Yep, that's the retail hell that I was in for a long, long, long time.
And how much did they make off your back?
Oh shit, dude! Redonkulous. And then of course, they did all of this just to basically what happened was CompUSA was a thing, but their customer service was terrible, and their stock, their prices were outrageous. And there were other companies like Fry, Circuit City, and Micro Center that just could beat them out. Not to mention Amazon and GameStop and Walmart were able to just beat their prices. So CompUSA died. Then another company called there was another company that was online only that was similar to Newegg called Tiger Direct. Tiger Direct acquired all of the old CompUSA inventory. And they made so much money doing online shit, they were like, let's reopen the CompUSA stores and as a, like CompUSA by Tiger Direct. And let's make these, and the only reason they did it was to offload this ridiculous amount of old inventory that they had. So and to maybe just to make some quick profit. And then as soon as that was all done, they died again. And so they shut everything down, and then they shut everything down, and now it's all back online again. So, and I thought, I was like, and it was god awful. The manager I had was just.
I just want to address a comment in the chat that actually is exactly what I was thinking, but slightly different. David Keller says retail is a terrible way to make a living.
Yep.
I think like for, teenagers, young adults and stuff, it's probably fine. It's a good way to get your foot in the door and all the rest of it. But you know what breaks my heart? You know what really grinds my gears? When you...
You know what ticks me off?
You know what really ticks me off? You know what really fucking ticks me off? But no, seriously, what really...
Is it crappy accent? Because that would be ironic. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out
Why are
loud?
you doing the Zuckerberg stare and blink?
It's like, well, Senator.
He was so creepy. Sorry.
He was licking his own eyes. Lizard people. I'm just saying it now. And Jack Dorsey looked like fucking Castaway. What was going on there, man? He was off his tits. He was higher than the fucking Sputnik, man. I'm telling you. He was out of it.
Someone finally told him about all the fucking child porn on his service.
Dude, it's insane on there. Insane. 200 accounts I've reported in a week. It's insane. It's fucking insane. But anyway, so I've lost my complete train of thought.
Yeah.
Actually, I do remember. So you know what really makes me kind of feel a little bit bad? So like there's a furniture store near where we live, and I wouldn't say I go in there. I would say I'm dragged in there quite regularly. Oh, let's see what they have. Oh, the same shit that they always have, Jen. But anyway,
You're getting so much trouble.
Oh yeah, big time. And like I hate it when there's like these, late middle-aged ladies, kind of like Tony, who are like, salesy, and you just know they don't want to be there, and they're really pushing for a sale, and oh man, it makes me. You know what makes me so sad? When you walk through a strip mall, and there's like a lady who's got, because it's usually ladies in this scenario, one of these little pop-up shops that nobody fucking goes to, and they're just sitting there like, are you a customer? And I'm like, I feel so bad for you. And I always picture Mrs. Demon in that scenario, and I'm like, please don't ever open a shop, because if it fails, I'd fucking die of sadness. It just makes me so sad, man. It's awful. But, it is what it is.
So, Jessica G would like to say, so while we're listening to this boring Irish demon story, take the time to take a piss or watch this video of a fish taking a shit. And sure enough, that is a fish taking a shit.
Is that one of your fish, Irish?
That is not. It is one of the biggest platies I've ever seen, and she's got an insanely bad fungal infection. Just whoever owns that fish should probably know that. It's called a Mickey Mouse platy, and it's got a really bad fungal infection. So yeah. Sorry, fish.
So
nerd.
it's not. So that's not fish poop.
It is poop, but the color of it would indicate that it's got a bad fungal infection. That's why it's swimming all weird. Although if I took a shit that was 12 times the length of my body, I think I would be swimming pretty funny. Oh yeah.
Normally, why is it stuck like that? Normally they drop off, don't they?
Generally speaking, they do, yeah. Or other fish will bite it off. Fish are gross. Like, they can be really gross.
They
But yeah,
swim in their own pee. So yes, they're gross.
exactly. A lot of people pay a lot of money for that jail. Just saying. I've seen the videos. There's this really interesting research group called Pornhub, I think, or something like that. It's a nature thing.
Is it nature or nurture?
So Jessica G says, "Room killer Jabba strikes again."
Well,
What's with the fat jokes, people? Suck my big fat nipples.
Well, that was actually
Jessica G gave the fish the fungus.
You on the live stream where you were celebrating your weight loss. It was Clive Wells who developed the Jabba demon, Irish Jabba. I forget how it goes. But he was the origin of that particular nickname, and because Clive and Jessica are so fond of you, they've sustained it over time.
Exactly, and it is flattering to be referred to as like Jabba the Hutt is essentially a big shit. Ultimately, I mean, he's like a shit with a thin layer of skin over it.
I actually kind of thought of him as a slug more.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, I think he is a slug.
Yeah.
Right.
He just didn't have the outer mucus and everything. He was just
that's right. Just less sticky.
2 seconds, gents. 2 seconds. I'll let the Aussies take care of it right now.
So yeah.
Oh, Jail's gone out for smoke.
Don't make me find the Kiwis and bring them in and actually make this money.
All right, see you in a minute, Jail. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. When we see JL, actually, how long does it take to have a cigarette? Like a minute? We will both fuck off just before JL comes back. So when he comes back, he's on his own. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. And nobody in the chat say anything. Just go on, like, keep talking your bullshit in the chat.
Yep.
All right, we better get...
Just pretend that Irish and I bored one another into comas, right? That's the story we're going with.
Exactly. What was I going to say?
Well,
it's just slug. I love Family Guy's version of Jabba the Hutt.
I have never watched Family Guy. People keep on recommending it to me. I haven't.
I think you would like it, to be honest. I think your humor that you'd appreciate the humor. I think.
Right.
I really do. I genuinely think you would. Listen to J.L. Warren's silent stream. It's much more entertaining than Irish Demon's joke. Jessica fucking G. That's it. I'm sending a fucking Reaper drone your way, lady. Look at the dog. The dog has no idea that we can see him. Hold on. Let's try and get the dog to put.
No, he can't hear us.
Shit on his carpet. That's a beautiful one. Okay, let's get out of here before JL comes back.
Okay. So here you are. You're on a live stream watching a very confused German Shepherd who has decided that if everybody else is out of here, he's out of here as well. He's not going to be stuck on stream.
What, did everyone fucking leave? I'm back. If anybody wants. There's my dog. Jingles. There's a good boy. Here's my good boy. Look at that dog. Look at that dog. Oh, yes, he's as bored as the chat is.
Sadly, I cannot maintain it. My capacity for sadism is only finite, I'm afraid.
All I could hear in the background was Tony like trying to hold back his laughter.
What were you guys
So,
doing?
Jail, we fucked off, right? Because we wanted you to come back to an empty screen. But your dog was in the background. And when we left, your dog just went like this. He just went like, well, I'm fucking out of here too. And he just fucked off.
Like we left, and the dog like looked at the screen. Well, if nobody else is going to be around, I see no reason why I should be entertained.
That was so funny. But yeah, the dog was like, right, well, I'm not fucking holding down the fort. See ya. Peace.
Okay.
He's a good dog. I found him, him and his sister. Actually, I think Shotzi might be his daughter, but found them running on the streets in a pretty gnarly part of town that we call Garland. Yeah. Well, okay. The joke.
Is there Garland, Texas?
Garland, Texas. The joke. Anybody who's seen the movie Zombieland, there's a joke at the beginning of that film where Jesse Eisenberg, where Columbus says, "Hey everyone, I'm in Garland, Texas, and I know it looks like zombies destroyed everything, but that's just Garland." And that he's right. He's absolutely right. That's just Garland. But yeah, so I found him. He was about a year old, and Shotzi was about 3 months. And the two of them were just running together on the street. And I happened to be at work that day. I was on special projects. I was like, I would think I was painting doors on a store for QT. And they came along, and I was like, oh my God, this little puppy. She's only 3 months. I don't want anything to happen to her. So I penned him up and penned him up. And we have an enclosed dumpster area. So I got some water. I got a big thing of water to put out there for him because it was hot as hell. And I think it was like the back end of July. And so I penned him up and I called my wife. It was like, hey, there's these two dogs here. They have no tags. They're running around. One of them's only 3 months old. Can you come? Would you mind running over here and picking them up? And we'll see if we can find their homes or like that. And she was like, absolutely. She jumped in the car. She ran over and she picked them up. And they had no chips, no tags. We couldn't find anybody. There was no record of them, somebody missing them. So they just stayed with us, and eventually they became ours. So we registered them. We got them, got all their shots, got them all medicated. They both had heartworm. They both had worms, like really bad. So we took care of them, and we got them all cleaned up, and they've just been ours ever since. Jingles and Shotzi, and crazy smart dogs. They're absolutely amazing.
They're an awesome breed.
Yeah, I love GSD. Shotzi's in there and on her bed right now. She's just chilling out.
It sounds like they could have been trailer trash dogs because you said it's his sister, but it could be his daughter.
We think it probably is, which is why the two of them were running together. And he was when she was little, he was very protective of her. So she, it may have been one of his litters, but.
I thought of you actually today, JL. I went to a house to drop off some aquatic plants, and the lady there had a 14-year-old German Shepherd, and it had problems with its back and its neck and stuff. But my God, what a sweetheart!
Oh yeah,
like she was in agony, because she's got a lot of problems with her bones and stuff. But she still stood up to come over and say hello, and then just went back and plonked back down. And we don't deserve dogs, humans. We just don't deserve their love, man. I get so excited when I come home and my dogs go ape shit. I could leave and go to the store and come back 10 minutes and they go crazy with excitement. I love it.
And what got us, what really, really got me about these guys is when we first got them, and like I said, Jingles was about a year old. Shotzi really didn't know anything because she was only about 3 months. She still had her baby teeth when we found her. When we got Jingles, we got him toys. We realized we're keeping these dogs, and the reason we decided to keep them was, well, we didn't find anything online about missing dogs. The store where I found them, the store manager there, her name was Lexi. She told me like 2 days later that this guy came in, who was this rat fuck looking gangster dude with a wife beater and just like sagging ass pants, tats all over the place, just with this attitude. comes in all disrespectful, is like, "Hey, anybody seen my fucking dogs?" Blah blah blah. And he was just like giving the manager a hard time and just talking shit. He was like, "Well, I want blah blah blah." He's like, and the manager's like, "Well, they were here. Somebody came and got them." And he's like, "Well, I want fucking footage, man. Those are my goddamn dogs." But he's just a total asshole. And fortunately, the footage, there was no footage of them. They literally. They see the dogs, they see someone go up, they see my wife go up, open the dumpster, and then the dogs ran out, jumped in her car, and took off. But they couldn't see anything. There was no license plate, no nothing, and the dogs are ours. So it was fortuitous. And then it made us sad because when we gave him toys, because we love buying toys for my dogs. I can't go to the store and not get something for my dogs.
Me too.
And he'd never had them before. He didn't know what to do with them. So when we gave it to him, it was like at first he had to check. He was like, "Is this mine? Like I can have this?" And so the first thing we got him was this big, long kind of slinky, squeaky dragon that was like almost 2 feet long. And we gave it to him. It was like, "That's yours." And he was just like, and he would just hold it for like the longest time. We realized it was like what. And eventually he realized, yeah, I can play with it. This is mine. So eventually he figured it out. But he had that dragon for almost a year. And he didn't hurt it. He didn't like chew it up. It was just his dragon. And they had
Was he very possessive of it? When
no,
it came to
he really wasn't. He really wasn't. He was just like, yeah, he's like, this
That's
is my baby.
Interesting.
And he never had a milk bone in his life. Like,
What?
we gave him his first milk bone, and he was like, I don't know what this is. And then finally he got into it, and now he's a goddamn addict. So it was just like, I got it. So now he's in the habit. If he finishes his dinner or finishes it, he gets a milk bone after that. Now it's to the point that he thinks if he goes outside and goes potty, when we let him outside, if he comes back, if he does it like, "Oh, I went outside, went potty," I get a cookie, right? So it's ridiculous. But it blew my mind when I first got these guys. It was we'd had them about 2-3 weeks. And one evening, I was in the kitchen. I was cooking dinner, and Angela was out watching her show on TV. And she called in the kitchen. Was like, "Hey, can you bring me a water?" And I was like, "I'm sitting here doing." I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. So as a joke, I opened the fridge, I pull out a water, and I went to Jingles is sitting in the kitchen, just like sitting there, like watching me, like, what is this guy doing? And I went to Jingles, like, "Jingles, take this to Mama." And I put the water, and he took the water bottle and trotted it out to my wife and dropped it in her lap.
That's so good.
Just
With
like
my
that.
dogs,
It was like no training whatsoever. And they are scary smart. And I love it when you're talking to them like that. And I love it when it looks like when they do the head talking, like they're trying to figure out what you're saying, or it's like, what's the deal? It's wild. It's so wild.
With our dogs, like if I'm in my office and Jen's at the western wing of the house, in her office, and usually Minnie, who's the little female chihuahua, she'll be here with me, and Floki, who's the male, will be down with Jen. They pick a human and stick with us. Yeah. And if I say to Minnie, I go, "Where's Mama?" She'll perk up. She'll run down to the back office. She'll run back up to me, and she'll stand at the door with her paw up as if to say, "Come on, let's fucking go. I'll show you where she is." It's the most amazing thing. Or like if in the mornings, like I'll open their little, where they sleep or whatever, and they just wait for me to tell them if they're going into Mama or if they're going outside, and they just wait. They're so clever, man. They're amazing. I'm just gonna step out real quick. I'll be right back. I'm still listening though, so don't fucking say anything.
I love the fact that because German Shepherds, GSDs, they're one of the few breeds that will look you straight in the eye, that will look you directly in the eye, and I have always loved that about them, that they're so attentive. And they're working dogs, so they do have jobs. Yep. And Jingles knows that his job is when we are out of the house. His job is basically watching the house and watching Shotzi and making sure that she's okay. So that's his job. And he's very, very, very much a perimeter of the house kind of dog. It's really, really cool. But when we're here, he's lazy as shit and just he's an absolute baby. I have seen only a few times him go full GSE, full German Shepherd, when he barks, and it is something to behold. And and it's mind blowing because, he's kind of a lazy dog. He's just kind of like, he does his own thing. I saw him one time because occasionally he would get out of the house and he would run and he would like run to it. We don't want him out, when he's off the leash, but he'll run out and he'll like be like, I'm crazy, I'm outside, and then he'll stop in a yard and be like, what's up? And so like Jingles, we're going to go, and then he'll run down to the next yard and stop and be like, huh? Like this is a big friggin' game. And one time he did that, and he got about halfway down the street, about 6-7 houses down, and Angela called him because Jingles is a giant mama's boy. Angela called him from the porch, and I saw this dog take off like I have never seen in my life. He is so fast, and you don't expect, because all I see him do, he lays around. When we go out for a walk, he's not that fast. All of a sudden, he broke into a sprint. And it was mind-blowing how fast that dog was. So they're so impressive.
They're very impressive animals. It's one of the big problems. Hate to sort of drag the conversation back to religion, but it's one of the one of the first problems I had with religion is the suggestion that that animals don't have souls. Because I've had a lot of pets. I've had pet dogs. I've had pet cats, but they have personalities. They have problem-solving skills. They're quite sophisticated intelligences. Certainly, some of them seem to be considerably smarter than your average flat earther.
Oh yes.
And just never really bought into the entire narrative that they have no soul, so they can't make it to heaven. Well, why the fuck would I want to be there then?
That's ridiculous.
What is the point of that? Because these guys are better company than most religious people too. So it's it's one of the things about pets. Some people say that they're cat people and some people say that they're dog people. I kind of consider myself to be both. They're just you can are you paying attention to the screen? Because
I'm listening. It's just that this is what Jingles does. Is he will walk up and just thrust his butt on you.
He wants butt scratches.
Yes, he wants butt scratches, and that's what he does. He'll just walk up and be like, my butt, please. And then when the butt scratch is over, he just walks the fuck off.
I don't want to be in any heaven where these guys aren't allowed to be.
Exactly so. Yes.
Like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, I mean, when I come home from work, right? When I'm out, I'd be out in the car all day, and you come home and these two are so excited. Like nothing in the world could be more exciting to them than seeing you come in the house, and they go crazy. Like Floki will come up and he'll just want to be picked up immediately. Minnie kind of runs around, she checks the house, makes sure everything is safe, and then she comes over and she gives you a big kiss. Like you could never like I couldn't imagine not having these two now. I really like look at this. Like he's such a baby. Like I mean
he is such a baby.
And you imagine this, because Jingles is about 100 pounds. When I'm sitting on the couch, Jingles will do that in your arms to me. So he'll sit up, he'll get up like a human and just like lay back on me. So it's like, hey, big dog.
Like
he's just
our
like
nickname. Our nickname for Floki is Floppy. So like you pick him up and he just fucking flops. The legs go everywhere. Like this, he will lie here in my arms. And he'll fall asleep. He'd stay like there was one night I was in a lot of pain after I had dental surgery, and I was just sitting on the couch just waiting for the pain to pass or whatever all night long. And he just sat like this in my arms and just slept all night. And he snores, and it's the cutest thing. And like it's just Minnie. What Minnie does, she's really tiny and she gets cold really really easily because she's got a genetic thing where she hasn't got an underlayer of fur. So she was pretty much bald when we got her because she was so malnourished and stuff. And what she does is she will come up and she'll put her 4 legs around your foot, around the bottom of your foot, and she'll squeeze your foot for warmth. And she's so warm and just, And every now and again, you just feel a little lick on your ankle just to say thank you for being there. You know, it's it's magic. Like
Yeah,
he's
that's
fallen.
one thing.
It is great.
My dogs love the cold. They love it when it's rainy and windy and cold because they're double coated, and
Yep.
the hot months not so much. Yeah, they don't really dig it that much. But yeah, when it's I can't keep them from. They want to be outside when it's like gross and disgusting, and of course, then they come inside the house and then it's just everywhere. But
Like
they don't give a
two,
damn.
This morning, it was raining here in Western Australia this morning. And when I open the back door, usually they run out. Floki does the same thing every morning, goes straight over to check. I'm not kidding, checks his flowers. He has a little spot under the flowers that he loves. Minnie immediately patrols the whole garden because she's part terrier, so she's got that instinct. But this morning I opened the door. The two of them stopped at the door, looked out, saw it was raining, looked up at me, and then just turned around and ran back in. They were like, "Nope." Chihuahuas hate the rain, like they really do.
See if I can.
You're a good boy, aren't you? Great guard dogs. If somebody puts their hand on our outside gate, they know and they go ape shit.
Yeah.
Dad.
Had a cat. We had a cat once, and we who wanted to go outside. We opened the door. It was pouring down rain. So they decided they weren't going to go out. So they wanted another door opened to check, and we opened that, and it was raining out that door as well.
There's the other one.
And the cat was very, very unhappy. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a great sign in the pet shop the other day. A guy said, "You don't need to be aware of the dogs, but the cat is shifty as fuck."
Yes.
So I am going to have to apologize to everybody. One of the consequences of this daylight saving bullshit is that it is now 3:00 in the morning for me, or near as damn it, and I am going to have to go and get some sleep before I have to go to work tomorrow. So, unfortunately, as much dog love as there is in the world, I'm going to have to start calling a halt. So I will take the burden of shilling Johnny O's channel, which only needs 122 more subscribers to get to the 1,000 mark. He's got an unpopular opinions video coming out tomorrow. He's also scheduling a podcast for the Christmas on December the 18th that will have a live jazz combo. Everybody should subscribe to Johnny O. He produces a lot of good content. What do you have coming out in the near future, JL?
Oh, let's see. Well, since we're in November now, so we got some really, really cool stuff coming up on Week in Horror. We've got our Bloodbath debate, which is coming up, which will be Alice from Resident Evil versus Celine from Underworld, which should be a fun little debate. That'll be me versus Alex on that one. We have the star of the horror possession film Hosts, Neil Ward, will be on the show this month, so that'll be really, really fun. Those guys are actually from England, which is pretty cool. We got it's pretty much standard fare of a Week in Horror. Now, as far as my own personal content, I've got a young genius who believes he's proved God with physics. I will be taking him down. He's a kid, so I feel a little bad about that one, but it's going to be really good. Other than that, we've also got the Master Debater series coming up on Friday the 13th. We will be discussing Friday the 13th. That'll be Friday night on the Plot Hole on Johnny's show. And other than that, not too much. If you're interested, if you like horror movies out there and you're unfamiliar with the show, you can check us out anywhere you like podcasts. Just search Week in Horror. If you like my personal channel, it's my name, JL Warren. You can subscribe to me there. I have the least amount of subscribers compared to these other guys. Johnny's about to hit 1,000. PhD Tony and Irish, they already cleared 1,000 some time ago. I have like 300, I think. Even less on Week in Horror because there's not a lot of horror fans in these chats, but if you do dig it, the eventual goal and once we get monetized and we get all this cool stuff going, and we get our patrons because we can we have patron tiers for like $1 a month. Once we get that up, eventually we want to start producing original film content. That is the eventual goal, is to start doing original horror film content to make movies. And all the people that help support us and get us there, we want to bring them along the way, which would be really, really cool. But yeah,
and hopefully I'll get to be in one when I go to Texas.
That would be badass, and
be awesome.
That would be a lot of fun. So yeah, all kinds of just all kinds of cool stuff. We have our Discord community. You can find the links to everything on our show. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just trying to close out this year, keep my head down, and avoid the Trumpanzees.
Irish, you've been given pole position, the last word. What have you got coming up?
So yeah, I've got a premiere in 5 minutes. It's just going to be a quick response to a message that Conspiracy Cats received from Riley, and it's pretty disgusting. And now I do make this promise that my channel is not going to turn into some serious thing. Like a lot of my previous videos have been quite serious. And this will probably be the last of them for a while. So I'm going to go back to my usual content come tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it really. Just see what comes and take it from there, I guess. So yeah, head on over and check that out in 5 minutes time.
Okay, unless you need sleep, in which case maybe get some sleep. So I put out a new video on entropy yesterday, and I needed to correct it today. Thank you, Clive Wells. You're a lifesaver. So please watch that, and I'll hopefully have a new video out on why it is that helium balloons don't disprove gravity, one of Nathan Oakley's favorite claims, and I'm hoping to set up a physics live stream as soon as I work out how OBS behaves and works. But yeah, so with that, I'm afraid we're going to have to wish you all a good evening, good morning, or
wherever you may be.
No, you're not going to. I realized what I was doing there, and fuck him, and fuck you, Miguel.
Hey, that's a real question. Before we bounce, and I just want to put just a nail in this, because pretty much Flat Earth is dead. With the things that are going on with the end of Nathan Thompson's group, with D Marble, switching to political commentary and coming off of Flat Earth, Jaronism shutting his channel down and not really doing anything. It really is. Gone. So I know I never dipped my toe in the Flat Earth commentary. I thought that everyone else was doing it so brilliantly. Didn't need shit from me. So I'll just go after their god and be happy in that crusade. Do you guys think by the end of the year that y'all won't be able to do Flat Earth content anymore? Is it just at this point they're the black hole? They're the black hole, and it's just there's no point. No one's going to go check it. I mean, do you think it's going to be dead by the end of the year?
Well, I think it's pretty much dying at the moment.
I reckon it'll have a resurgence once we put the next. I think the next person is going to be a female astronaut on the moon. I think that is when it's going to really either die or take off again, and they start trying to pick it apart and all that stuff. But I think once the degrees of separation between us and people who actually go to the moon and Mars, etc. shortens, that'll be the end of it. I don't think it'll continue much after that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Then again, they said that during the shuttle era, so who knows?
Yeah. So I think it's certainly deflating at the moment, and there's some good content out there, and we're sort of AB Science and and Blue Marble Science, and there are a bunch of people around, Clive Wells, Professor Phil Bell, who are just equipping people with the knowledge they need to just rip apart Flurfer arguments. And
Mr. Sensibles, Mage Project. That was brilliant. That was so brilliant, and it was like that right there. There you go. You can't refute that. That's so.
Well, they obviously they can and they will, but it requires sort of a significant amount of intellectual gymnastics to even pretend that you're being intellectually honest while you do it. I think the balloon has been badly punctured and sort of people are stamping on it, but you're not going to be able to eradicate it ever. I don't think, even in the era of space tourism, there are going to be diehards whose level of delusion is just too strong. They can't be brought back, and that's sad, but it's almost inevitable. And I'm already thinking. So once I think that I've said as much about flat Earth science as I can, I intend to go into young Earth creationism and why that's a load of bollocks.
Awesome.
There are different layers of stupid out there, and
I have considered, and I'm seriously, I'm kind of working myself up to it. I don't know if I want to try it because there is one person out there who is, speaking of theism, who is he's a presuppositional apologist, and probably one of the most toxic individuals I've ever seen, and he's bad. It's bad. I think people in chat might know him. It's Darth Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am under the name Eat Your Bible. I'm actually in the Discord server that he is on, and I've listened to him. And I want to make, before I engage with him on why I'm an atheist and the justification of my atheism, before I go into that tiger pit, I want to make sure that I am 100% armed and ready to shut him down, because ultimately his sycophants will jump all over, they'll dogpile me, and they won't let me speak, and they'll just call me disingenuous and a pathological liar, and then they'll kick me from the server. I want to debate him on Johnny's channel on the plot hole. I want it to be just me and him, neutral platform, no sycophants, nobody yelling that I'm full of shit. And I want to corner him because there's questions he can't answer, all kinds of stuff. But I'm thinking about doing that, of going after him and trying to put the screws to him. It could be fun. It could be like this. Some people have told me it's not worth it, just because what's to gain other than the dumpster fire. But maybe there could be some education to it. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, if you can make him look, looking at it, if you can show that he has clay feet, that's something of an achievement. So, just before we do go, Jessica G has asked if we can have one last Irish demon joke.
I don't know if Jessica G deserves my comedic genius at this point. I know she's enjoyed it so far.
She is really a fan. Yeah, it's
Okay, I got one. So my landlord rang me and asked me why my heating bill was so high. I said, "Come on around, let's talk about it. My doors are always open."
Yep. That leads
and
up
with
to
that,
that leads
on
up
that
to the
bombshell.
You need to go do a